200,000 people have converged along Shoreline Drive this weekend for a Southern California mix of sun, fun, cars, and stars. For 3 days, the city of Long Beach becomes a playground for those with a passion for racing. There is something for everyone. But on Sunday, they grab a view from along the shore or high above the main event, the Verizon IndyCar Series. Today, they'll see if a defending champion can start another run to a series title, if a three-time Long Beach winner can recapture past glory, or if a fan favorite can dance his way back to victory lane 16 years after his first victory here. Welcome to IndyCar Live, presented by Verizon, where we set the stage for today's 85-lap race. Hello, everyone. I'm Rick Allen. Glad to welcome you to the first of 13 IndyCar weekends on NBC Sports. We drop the flag here at America's longest-running street race and crown a champion this September up the coast in Sonoma. And to get started, this race features 7 past Long Beach winners spread out all over the grid. From 2001 winner Helio Castroneves on the pole, to 3-time winner Sebastian Bourdais in 12th, to race and series defending champion Simon Pagenaud in the final grid position in 21st. And in case you've missed it, Pagenaud is starting from the rear after being penalized for interfering Castroneves in the first round of qualifying yesterday, moments after breaking the track record. Well, his Penske teammate Will Power, a 2-time winner here, also failed to advance from the second round, as did Sebastian Bourdais, winner of the season's first race in St. Pete. Now, in the final round of qualifying, Scott Dixon set a new track record, only to be outdone by Castroneves minutes later for his 3rd consecutive Long Beach pole. But Marty Snyder, as we look for you on a busy grid, the field is busy with former champions. And even though Helio has won the last 3 poles, it's been 16 years since he's won this iconic race.
Yeah, but Rick, he's still a Long Beach winner. And you know all those beautiful shots you guys were showing from the helicopter? This place is unbelievable. And even down here on the grid, the atmosphere is absolutely electric. It's palpable down here. This is such a fun place. And no wonder they call Long Beach the Indy 500 of street course races. Let's talk to Helio Castroneves, the man on the pole. What is the significance and the meaning behind winning a race at Long Beach, Helio?
This place has tradition. You know, it's just so cool to be racing here in Long Beach. And not only that, I mean, I'm particularly happy that I'm starting on pole position. And but again, it's a place that so many good drivers been here before, and it's just an honor for all of us to be here.
Do you feel that atmosphere from the fans?
The atmosphere, the welcome, the friendship. I mean, everybody here, and generation of generation already coming to this place. So it's if you got to pick one place as well, this is another one to be.
All right, let's talk about the race. What's the advantage of starting on the pole?
Well, there is many. I mean, obviously you have a clean air. You don't have any problems in terms of confusion, especially people breaking in front of you. Although it's one thing, you break in the air, meaning you actually helping everybody to get a draft. So we're gonna have to try to do something really cool here and stay in front. And other than that, just look forward.
He's got his work cut out for him. The last driver to start on the pole and win the race here at Long Beach, Sebastian Bourdais, 10 years ago. Rick.
So Castroneves competes for Team Penske, who along with Chip Ganassi Racing have won 8 of the last 9 series championships. So when the season began last month in St. Pete, those 2 teams once again came in as traditional favorites. But when the checkered flag waved, it marked an emotional trip to victory lane for a team that reunited in the offseason.
The Verizon IndyCar Series is set to embark on a new season here on the streets of St. Petersburg, Florida.
Sebastian Bourdais is in the 18 and reunited with Craig Hampson. That's the guy that guided him to 4 consecutive championships.
He takes a look to the inside, does Bourdais, and he'll make the pass in turn number 1.
Sebastian Bourdais, who started last, now runs first.
Dale Coyne, one of the smaller budget teams, going against the large teams of Penske, Ganassi, and Andretti Autosport.
A battle of Frenchmen here for the win in St. Pete.
Here is Simon Pagenaud. We'll watch the blend when he comes off the pit lane for this last dash to the checkers.
Bourdais is brimming with confidence right now. He has led the majority of the race.
Bring it home, bring it home.
Checkered flag for Sebastian Bourdais and Dale Coyne Racing.
Dale, I'll be forever in debt to you, man. Thanks for bringing my crew back.
So Bourdais' win marks the first time in 31 years that Dale Coyne has led the points as an owner. Defending series champion Pagenaud sits second in the points, while it should be noted that the only rookie in the field, Ed Jones, also a Coyne driver, rounds out the top 10. Kevin Lee is with Sebastian Bourdais.
And Rick, Sebastian Bourdais won 4 straight Champ Car titles a decade ago, so being back atop the point standings, does this feel like a familiar spot for you?
I don't know. I wasn't expecting it, that's for sure. But very happy for the Delcon organization, for the whole Honda camp. We haven't had the weekend so far we were looking for, but it's a long day. It's going to be a tough one, so we'll see what we can pull out.
But after winning from last at St. Pete, you've already picked up 9 spots to start this one, so you should be in good shape, right?
I don't know. Sometimes it feels like it might be easier to win from last to first, but we'll see. Mid-pack sometimes is a bit of a dodgy place to be. Try and dodge the bullets and see what happens. It's like I said, it's going to be a hard fuel race today, so we'll see. We'll see what we can come up with.
All right, we'll watch from Sebastian Bourdais starting just beyond the mid-pack. Rick.
Thanks, Kevin. 7 of the 21 drivers on the grid have won here at Long Beach, and Bourdais leads that group with 3 wins. Will Power is the only other active driver with multiple wins. He has 2. Dale Coyne Racing formed back in 1984. That was their inaugural season, and amazingly enough, it took them 25 years to get their first win. Back in 2009, Watkins Glen with Justin Wilson also got the win at Texas in 2012. Mike Conway, Carlos Huertas also getting victories for Dale Coyne. But the past 2 seasons, in 2015, 7 drivers, no podiums. 2016, 6 drivers, no podiums. So Bourdais' win at St. Pete also marked the resurgence of Honda this season, with 7 Honda drivers finishing in the top 10. And yesterday, in qualifying, 5 Honda drivers qualified in the top 6 start positions. Andretti Autosport has 2 drivers starting in the top 6, and Katie Hargett is with one of them, Indy 500 defending champ Alexander Rossi.
And Alexander is making his career best start today from 5th. Alex, how much does Honda's resurgence have to do with your personal improvements here at Long Beach?
It has to do a lot to do with it, really. I mean, they did an amazing job in the offseason, not resting on their laurels, even though they were getting better at the end of 16. But for us, really, the big thing is Andretti Autosport. They've done an unbelievable job, and it's an honor to drive for a group of people that made such a big improvement.
You stayed with the same team, but your entire timing stand, your engineer and your strategist are all new to you. What's that adjustment been like?
It's been an adjustment for sure. I mean, having Rob Edwards on the stand has been great to replace Brian, but really the big thing has been Jeremy coming on board, and he's brought a whole wealth of information and knowledge, and it took us a little bit of time to get in sync, but I think we did the last couple tests, and now coming here, it's proven to pay off.
Rick, he's already won IndyCar's biggest race. He's looking to win number 2 from his home state.
Yeah, Alexander Rossi grew up in Nevada City, California. So thanks, Katie. When we return, we'll hear from the defending race winner, Simon Pagenaud. But in order to repeat, the Frenchman will have to work his way from last to first. You're watching IndyCar.
Sport 1 Plus ist empfangbar über folgende Partner. Emotion, Passion, Meditation, Präzision. Die Herren der Lüfte. Sie kämpfen gegen die Gravitation.
This is absolutely brilliant!
Und jagen den deutschen Champion Matthias Golderer. Faszination Red Bull Air Race. Alle Rennen auf Sport 1 Plus. Sport1 Plus ist empfangbar über folgende Partner.
Long Beach is awesome. The city is great. The people come out in droves. Incredible event. It has been for so many years, and it's one of my favorite tracks.
Such a classic event. Like, the energy there is so high. It's so much fun to be there for the weekend and then be a part of the big show.
It's a great event. It's hardly in Monaco, I would say, like Formula One, but for IndyCar.
For me, one of the tougher tracks that we go to, but amazing event.
Technical, very fast, sunny, parties. Southern Cal, along the beach, beautiful.
In and out. One of the most prestigious tracks we go, a lot of history, and a very fun street course.
California, you see the Queen Mary there. That's just off of Shoreline Drive here in Long Beach, part of the street course. The celebrities coming out in droves to enjoy this race. There's Julian Edelman, two-time Super Bowl champ with the Patriots. He's actually going to be riding along with Mario Andretti, a three-time winner here at Long Beach. And because of those wins, he is able to have a plaque. It is in Victory Circle here. That's one of the things that Tony Kanaan mentioned, how prestigious it is to win here. Tony Kanaan still seeking his first win, but a year ago, it was Simon Pagenaud. He added his plaque with a win that started his storybook season.
Dixon decides to come to pit road early.
Dixon out with a clear road, so he's got to rip off a quick lap here.
There's several cars that still need to pit that are all in contention.
Pagenaud is ripping off fast laps right now.
This could be a race-winning pit stop.
This is close.
Oh, he's ahead. This is going to be tight.
But did Pagenaud cut that yellow line? That looked close on the merge.
Race control is officially reviewing. He was all four clearly over. They're going to give him a warning.
That could have been the race-winning move.
Here comes the 9. Scott Dixon trying to get aggressive. Right on the back wing. Can he make it happen? Pagenaud's going to win at Long Beach.
You know, it was a bit of a battle there all day long with the Penskes, and I think that was our race, man.
Yeah, I mean, when you have Scott Dixon behind, you always need to push it.
The rules clearly state you have to have two wheels on the other side of the line or you get a penalty.
There's an inch on the racetrack there, so I'm good.
Some controversy here last year and some great racing. Simon, what was the significance of that win here last year?
Yeah, it was the beginning of an incredible run, 3 wins in a row, and you know, the first Penske win for a driver is it's very special. So for me, it was the beginning of unlocking a lot of potential. But now today is a different day. We has the reigning champ, and we've got the fastest car. So we're starting at the back, which I think is going to make it very exciting for everybody. This morning the car was phenomenal, so I'm planning on going to the front.
Yeah, that's the good. You might have the fastest car. The bad is the qualifying penalty put you back there. So what can you do?
Well, I'm going to attack. This is probably not going to be a day of fuel saving for us, which I'm very excited about. But obviously we're going to need to have quite a smart strategy. Maybe the yellow fall our way like it did in St. Pete for Bourdais would be very lucky. But we have the pace to go to the front. So we'll see. I was able to pass quite a bit of cars this morning in the warm-up. So I think we have something quite special on the car.
We too are excited that it won't be all about fuel strategy. He's going to be fun to watch, Marty.
Well, Scott Dixon might argue the fact that Simon Pagenaud has the fastest car. A lot of people in the paddock think Scott Dixon has the best car today, and you start second this afternoon. So you've talked all weekend long about how good your car was on longer runs, but how aggressive will you play the early part of this run, lap 1 down there in turn 1?
Yeah, it's always a hard one. You know, you don't want to lose the race on the first corner, and you know, Long Beach I think is particularly one of the trickier starts that we have. You know, you got lots of straight where the cars can get a good draft off you from behind, so it will definitely always be interesting going in there. But obviously we want a clean race. If we can't have a clean turn 1, it's going to make the day pretty difficult. But we'll have to see how strategy plays. You know, it's going to be a pretty tight 2-stopper. I think there's a lot of people that are going to go for a 3-stopper. Makes it much easier on fuel mileage. So yeah, well, it's a lot of uncertainties, but that's a typical Verizon IndyCar race. So we'll do our best. But very proud to be running NTT data this weekend. 2 cars, the 9 and 10. It's hopefully going to be a good one. And hopefully we can get both on the podium.
All right, for years, this place was so tough to Scott Dixon. It took him 8 years, Rick, to get a podium here, but he's finished first and second in the last 2 Long Beach races.
Thank you, Marty. A reminder that if you want to go on board with Simon Pagenaud for his run through the field, his camera will be streamed on IndyCar Mobile. You can go inside IndyCar all season, download IndyCar Mobile from Verizon. We've already seen shots of pit road. It is incredible, the people that come out to try to enjoy and take in the prestige and what this race really means. It's been run for 43 years, the Grand Prix of Long Beach. Let's go down into that chaos and find Robin Miller.
You know, Rick, we've been coming here for 34 straight years. It's the second biggest race behind the Indy 500, and it's developed its own tradition. And what I mean by that, we've got the Walk of Fame. Here's 2-time Indy 500 winner, 2-time World Driving Champion Emerson Fittipaldi. He was in the Walk of Fame inducted on Thursday, along with Tommy Kendall, one of the great sports car drivers of the last 25 years, another guy that should have been an IndyCar driver but didn't get the chance. Then on Thursday night, we had Dan Gurney and Anthony Joseph Foyt and the GT40 they won Le Mans with 50 years ago. A great celebration. And later that night, I got them all together, and we got Parnelli Jones, Mario Andretti, Dan Gurney, AJ Foyt, Mount Rushmore. You'll never see 4 guys like that together again. All right, let's go talk to some people. How about this old? Come here, buddy. I don't want to hear you tell people you're going to save fuel. I want Tony Kanaan to the front, knocking people out of the way.
It's a race, right? Race, we don't save, we race. So that's what we're doing.
So that's a three-stop strategy.
I can't tell you that. We're going to race fast, though. I'm not going to give you all of it, but yeah, you keep an eye on us. I can assure you one thing. On the start of the race, where I'm starting and Elio's starting on the pole, I'll be in turn 9 by the time it goes green.
All right, good luck. He knows Elio pretty well. Now remember this. Paul Tracy came from 17th to win this. Here's Marco Andretti. He walked right in here. Young man, excuse me, sir. Live television, can't cuss. All right, you're starting better than you have all last year. You got a smile on your face. You got Brian Herta. You're running good. How do you feel today?
I'll tell you in a couple hours, but you know we're gonna gamble. So, you know, I feel like if we did what we did at St. Pete, it would just be a stay in line, boring type of race. So we're gonna try to shake it up a bit.
You just seem like things are much better. You're happier. It's just a good time to be a race driver.
Always a good time to be a race driver.
All right, good luck, kid. Rick, back to you.
Robin, I don't think I've ever seen you move so fast. Thank you. Next week, it's a big one for fans of the Fast and Furious movies, which IndyCar driver pulled back the curtain on some of the cars used in these movies. Find out when IndyCar Live, presented by Verizon, returns.
Guys, let's play ball. Sports, Stars and Show. Highlights, Hintergründe, Interviews und mehr. Aus der besten Basketballliga der Welt. Fast Break, dein NBA Week Pass. Das wöchentliche NBA-Magazin im Free TV. Mittwoch, 22:30 Uhr auf Sport 1. Hochzeit in Deutschland. Die Heim-WM. Alle Spiele der deutschen Eishockey-Nationalmannschaft live auf Sport 1. Sport 1 Plus. Für das gewisse Extra im April. Mal europäisch, mal südamerikanisch. Immer spektakulär.
What a strike!
Internationaler Spitzenfußball. Hopp oder Top. Jedes Spiel entscheidet. Jetzt ist K.O.-Zeit. Die Achtel- und Viertelfinalspiele der Euro Hockey League. Diese High Society ist himmlisch abgehoben.
Oh, it's looking very good.
Das Red Bull Air Race in San Diego. Für das gewisse Extra im April. Sport 1 Plus. Sport 1 Plus ist empfangbar über folgende Partner.
On April 14th, get ready for what's being called the biggest, boldest, Fast and Furious movie yet. The Fate of the Furious. That's in theaters on Friday. So some people come to Hollywood hoping to catch a glimpse of the stars of the big screen. But when one IndyCar driver arrived in Southern California this week, he got to look in on the cars from the Fast and Furious franchise in our IndyCar Access.
Hey guys, my name is Connor Daly. We're here for IndyCar Access in Los Angeles with Dennis McCarthy, the picture car coordinator for the Fast and Furious movies, my personal favorite movies of all time. Dennis, please explain some of these cars to us.
Yeah, let's do it. I'll take you on a tour.
Awesome.
I think this car goes without introduction. Just here for a little restoration. This car is normally on display up at the Universal Hollywood theme park. Escort, we were actually shooting in the UK. The crowd there cared more about this than everything else, so I think it was a great asset to have in the film. We have the Yenko Camaro, which was driven by Paul Walker in Too Fast, Too Furious.
Yep, I remember that scene. They won it. They went,
yep, exactly.
They raced
won
for
the
slips.
Race.
Yep. The cool thing about these movies is there's so many unique cars that are just built for these films. And I mean, it's incredible to see what you guys come up with.
Every installment, we definitely try to change it up the best we can and keep it interesting, keep it fresh.
Obviously, this has been the headlining car, yeah, from so many of the movies. I feel connected to it emotionally already.
Although I can't give you a car, I can definitely let you drive a car. So I mean, if you want to, take this out, go grab a burger or something, take it for lunch and just.
Wait, are you serious?
Bring it back when you're done. Just try to bring it back in the same condition it left, and we're all good.
Well, how far is it from here to Indianapolis? Because I'm going. I've seen this car in the films, and I wish I could be in the movies because I thought it was so cool. I think I am one of the biggest fans of this whole series ever, so this is awesome.
And I will say I'm surprised that he didn't do a burnout driving that car. And take a look. In Southern California, you've got car lovers everywhere, and there's a lot of money in that parking lot right there as we look down on some of the fans that have joined us here at Long Beach. And I've got a couple car enthusiasts standing by with me now. Townsend Bell, you won the Indy Lights race here in Long Beach. Paul Tracy, you've won the Grand Prix of Long Beach 4 times. So obviously a very prestigious event. Now Townsend, to win this event, we're going to see maybe some differing tire strategies today.
Yeah, no question. The tire strategy is super important here. And I think the tire strategy is in large part dictated by the driving style. Look at the front row. You've got Helio Castroneves, 3 pole positions in a row, the track record, but he hasn't converted that to a win. He's a hugely aggressive driver. He works the tires very hard, but then on the other side of that front row, Scott Dixon, a big picture thinker. He is great over the long runs. If this race goes green, like it has for 2 years, only one yellow flag period, 2 years at Long Beach. If that happens again, I think the advantage is really with Scott Dixon and his ability to take care of those tires over the distance.
PT, I remember last year a lot was talked about the Hondas and how are they going to get up and compete with the Chevrolets. Well, right now it seems as though the Hondas might have got a little parity now as we've got in the engine department here.
Well, I would say there's more than parity. It seems like there's been a big shift in the power play of who has the best motor in the paddock. Right now, 5 of the top 6 cars on the grid are Honda-powered cars. Helio Castroneves was able to take his Chevy and put it on pole with a new lap record. But mileage today, tire wear, whether you do 3 stops or 2, that's going to be the race today.
All right, Sebastian Bourdais started the season off winning from the back. Simon Pagenaud is going to start from the back. Can he win?
He can win, but he's going to have to be aggressive and fast when he gets aggressive with strategy. Look for Simon Pagenaud to be early to pit lane and go for that 3-stop strategy.
All right, thank you for watching IndyCar Live presented by Verizon. When we return, the command to start engines for this legendary race, and the field is led off pit road by a Super Bowl champion and a racing world champion. That's next here at Long Beach.
Moment!
Eiszeit in Deutschland. Die Heim-WM. Alle Spiele der deutschen Eishockey-Nationalmannschaft live auf Sport 1.
After the thunder of horsepower. Started in 1975 as a Formula 5000 race, the streets of Long Beach have seen countless legends of motorsport taking the fast ride down Shoreline Drive and finding victory lane along the way. Legends like Mario Andretti winning 4 times and his son Michael twice. But the king of Long Beach is Al Unser Jr. with 6 wins. Today the IndyCars are back in town and with 7 former winners in the field. From Helio Castroneves, Ryan Hunter-Reay, and Scott Dixon to Sebastian Bourdais, who captured 3 consecutive wins and grabbed race number 1 of the 2017 season in St. Petersburg 4 weeks ago. As the season continues to take off, a win here could even lead to a championship title like Simon Pagenaud captured last year. The Grand Prix of Long Beach begins now. It is such an honor to be a part of such a great event. This again, the 43rd Toyota Grand Prix of Long Beach. Shoreline Drive, the front straight that we will see cars get upwards of 175 miles an hour. Let's go down trackside for the command.
Are you ready? It's time for the most famous words in all of sports. Please welcome today's Grand Marshal, head coach of the Rose Bowl champion USC Trojan football team, and 2016 National Coach of the Year finalist, Mr. Clay Helton. Drivers, start your engines!
The fans line the street to hear that sound. Those engines coming to life. These drivers now strapped in, getting ready for 85 laps around this just under 2-mile, 11-turn road course.
Here we go, Long Beach, California, boys and girls, one of the most iconic street courses in the world. The drivers love it here. And here we come down to first corner. It's going to be tricky to thread the needle through there on the start. Always a lot of action in the first corner as we see Simon Pagenaud dive down the inside of Tony Kanaan for position. Then the end of the back straightaway, your other great passing opportunity. A lot of pavement changes. There's manhole covers, bumps all over the track, and it's really rubbered up with all the races that have been here this weekend as we see Carlos Munoz dive down the inside of Ryan Hunter-Reay in last year's race. And then the final turn, one of the slowest turns in motorsports, 25 miles an hour, leading on to Shoreline Drive. As we watch these guys come off the corner, put the power down onto the longest straightaway, and hit that push to pass, try to make it happen at the end.
So the cars are rolling off of pit lane now.
And Rick, let's talk a little bit about temperature. This is our Firestone Tire Fact. The race is about a week and a half, 2 weeks earlier than it normally is, and look at the difference in temperature. 73 in 2015, 81 last year, but a cool 66 and overcast today. That really helps those Firestone Reds, the softer compound, helps those red tires go a little further.
Firestone, the official tire of the Verizon IndyCar Series. Whatever you drive, drive a Firestone. Out in front of this field, the two-seater has that two-time Super Bowl champion I mentioned earlier, Julian Edelman. He was riding along with Mario Andretti, the 69 Indy 500 champion. Mario Andretti has been victorious here at Long Beach as well. What a ride it has to be for the Squirrel, Julian Edelman, out there in front of the field. We're moments away from the green flag. The fans are ready for it. A beautiful day in Long Beach.
Sport 1 US im April.
Here we go, here we go!
Get the party started. Final Call.
Here he goes again!
Die Titelkrönung im College-Basketball. Ernste Angelegenheit.
Incredible!
Für beste Unterhaltung.
Wow!
Playoff-Auftakt. In der NBA und der NHL. Highspeed-Hattrick.
It's a triple!
3 Rennen der IndyCar-Serie.
Oh my goodness!
Get the party started. Sport 1 US im April. Sport 1 US ist empfangbar über folgende Partner.
Halt, stopp!
Eiszeit in Deutschland. Die Heim-WM. Alle Spiele der deutschen Eishockey-Nationalmannschaft live auf Sport 1. Emotion, Passion, Meditation, Präzision. Die Herren der Lüfte. Sie kämpfen gegen die Gravitation.
This is absolutely brilliant!
Und jagen den deutschen Champion Matthias Golderer. Faszination Red Bull Air Race. Alle Rennen auf Sport 1 Plus. Sport 1 Plus ist empfangbar über folgende Partner.
No bad seat at Long Beach as we see the cars working their way around the track. The street course getting ready for 85 laps. We're going to be able to ride along with a few of the drivers, one of those being the 7 of Mikhail Aloshin. He has the Aero onboard camera with him. The 10 of Tony Kanaan has the NTT Data onboard camera. Joseph Newgarden in the 2 with the Verizon onboard camera. Graham Rahal in the 15 has the Pengrade motor oil on board. James Hinchcliffe in the number 5 has the Lucas Oil onboard camera. And the one of Simon Pagenaud starting all the way in the back with the Verizon streaming on board. You can go inside IndyCar all season. Download IndyCar mobile from Verizon. That's going to be an interesting perspective, watching Simon Pagenaud, last year's winner, last year's champion, try to fight from the last starting position. Want to check in one more time with our pit reporters. We start with Katie Hargett.
Rick, street courses were the Achilles heel of Andretti Autosport last season. As a team, they had just 2 podiums, and they both belonged to this guy, Ryan Hunter-Reay. So they spent the whole offseason trying to find a new direction. They added some new engineering power and spent a lot of time poring over data. This weekend, they've been some of the fastest cars. Ryan Hunter-Reay qualified just 2/10 off the pole, so he'll fight for the win today, starting from 3rd. Marty?
Katie, no IndyCar driver associates themselves with Hollywood right now more than James Hinchcliffe. Of course, last year he spent half of his year here competing in Dancing with the Stars. This week he arrived on Tuesday evening, spent a lot of time with family and friends. In fact, he'll have 50 family and friends here this afternoon. When Hinch left LA a couple of months ago, he finished 2nd in Dancing with the Stars. Today he wants to finish 1st in the Long Beach Grand Prix, Kevin.
Marty, 2 guys we have not mentioned so far, Team Penske's Joseph Newgarden and Will Power. Power is a 2-time winner here, and both felt like they made mistakes in qualifying, so they're a little faster than what they have shown so far. So watch for them coming from 8th and 9th, Robin.
Kevin, Marco Andretti hadn't won a race since 2013. Last year was a disaster, so his father and team owner Michael Andretti said, we're going to make a change. They put Brian Herta on the pit box. He's in Marco's ear. They've had immediate results. He's got a much better attitude, a much better qualifying pace, a much better race pace. Keep an eye on number 27, Marco Andretti.
You mentioned a better attitude, a better finish as well. 7th at the opening race in St. Pete for Marco Andretti. 2 by 2. They're all in line. Helio Castroneves, a track record, bringing him to the green flag. It's in the air. We're underway.
Great jump from Ryan Hunter-Reay in that yellow car. Look for him to make a move here as Dixon leads him down to turn 1.
Castroneves was completely asleep. He's been swallowed up. Now P6. Kanaan comes to the outside of Castroneves to make a move as he tucks in on his teammate.
And what a move it was. So Dixon has the lead as they work their way past the fountain. That's turns 2 and 3.
Oh, that's tight right there. You're not going to go 2 abreast for very long.
Oh, no, Kimball!
Right away.
What did I tell you? And that is Charlie. That will put him out.
And that's 2 races in a row. Kimball went out on the first lap at St. Pete.
I could see that brewing immediately. I said, you're not going to go 2 abreast for very long. And Will Power looks like he might have a bent A-arm.
Yeah, but
Charlie's car, the rear suspension is broken, the rear wing is broken, side pod, but this is disastrous for Will Power. Obviously, front wing broke, but that front toe out could be bent as well.
A race a year ago, not 1 caution. They didn't even get through turn 5 before the first caution came out this year.
Look for guys to start pitting now. Look at that front A-arm. Is it bent, Townsend? I see down here in the corner right here. It looks like it's bent down in there where it goes into the tub. So this
look
is
at Will
disastrous.
Powers waving like he's going to be able to continue, but that looks like a severe impact. Maybe it's just the angle of the wing. We'll know as soon as he gets going if the steering wheel's askew, but Charlie Kimball just destroyed the back end of that car.
I saw this brewing here as they went into the fountain. It's almost impossible to get through that 2 abreast. Will Power stuffs it down the inside. Charlie, they bump there, bump again, and Will says, I'm going by no matter what, and he wasn't all the way up there.
Well, but listen, that started, Paul, side by side at the fountain. It's not like Power stuffed his way in. They were side by side going in there. Kimball's got to know somebody's still there.
But you got to know Charlie's tough to pass. He's always tough to pass, and Will wasn't all the way up on him, so everybody knows that Charlie is a tough, tough guy to pass.
But for Charlie Kimball, that's 2 races in a row out in the first 2 or 3 corners.
12 of Will Power still on the lead lap. He's going to get back to the attention of his crew. They've taken off the front wing already.
And that front suspension, Paul, it looks okay right now.
As long as this suspension is okay, this could be a blessing in disguise because he can go off strategy now. He was kind of in the no man's zone in, 10th, 11th, that group with Andretti, Kanaan, Bourdais. So this could play out. He's not out of it by any means as long as the car's not damaged.
And again, a full course yellow came out.
Now, what happened with Castroneves? It's almost like he spun the tires or he was in the wrong gear.
Everybody got lined up, and it looked like he just checked up, like he tried to do a go stop on everybody, and everybody just went on him. And look, he lost 5 positions. So he left the start late, like he wanted to bring it down late, and then kind of did a jump stop, and then everybody just went and kept going.
Seen Castroneves on board with Kanaan here. He clean air and picks up 2 or 3 positions there on the outside.
Pit road is open. We know Will Power is going to be on his way down pit road.
Oh, wings flying there. I don't know where that came from, but somebody's wing got taken off. Might have been Marco.
Looked blue and white, but unfortunately there's a ton of blue and white cars in this field.
And that was on the initial start of the race.
There's the debris flag. Red and yellow striped flag indicating debris on the track. That's going to be the front straight. You can see a little carbon bit right there the drivers are running over.
So a few cars are going to have to make their way onto pit road, and this might also come into play as far as strategy goes for some teams. You're watching NBCSN's coverage of IndyCar, brought to you by Steak and Shake, home of the original steak burger. Proud to sponsor the number 15 and Graham Ray Hall. And by Polaris Razor. Fuel your freedom. Watch every IndyCar on NBC Race online, on tablet, and connected TV devices with the NBC Sports app. Download the app or find out more at NBCSports.com. Very eventful start. Connor Daly had some issues. And Connor Daly actually was in the pits when the field took the green. This is Tony Kanaan and Charlie Kimball. They touched a little bit going down the front stretch.
So that was the reason Kanaan came to the pit. So he lost a front wing. So here we go. We're going back to green.
Scott Dixon out in front. Green flag back in the air.
Great jump for Dixon. Hunter Ray drafting Hinchcliffe there. It could be close down in one. He might have a move here.
I tell you what, we got it Honda, 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 Honda. The first 6 cars, 5 cars are Honda. Castroneves started from the pole and now in 6th place.
And very interesting, none of your front runners on the push to pass on that restart. Everybody already is thinking, save fuel, run long, make this on 2 stops.
And everybody up front on the red tires, the softer tires, going to be a little more aggressive early on with those, a little bit quicker, but they will wear out a little faster.
Certainly they will, especially as the sun pops through. You can see the sun down on the track now. That overcast has gone away, and that'll raise the track temperature very quickly as they work their way out of turn 8.
And again, it's Dixon, Hinchcliffe, Hunter Ray, Ray Hall, and Rossi, the top 5.
You can see Dixon's already in fuel savings mode. Normally he would take off from these guys, and you can see right away he's cruising, he's coasting the corners, so he's going to definitely go 2-stop strategy.
Is that an opportunity for a driver like Hinchcliffe to try to make the pass, get by him?
Well, Hinchcliffe is on the button right now, so we might find the answer. Here comes James Hinchcliffe.
Looks to the outside of Dixon as they come into turn 1.
Dixon protects the inside. Perfect maneuvering there, so he didn't allow Hinchcliffe to dive down the inside, made him go outside.
And here's Pagenaud making moves. He's up 9 positions. Simon Pagenaud on the charge. He's not saving fuel. He's going to go for it.
Again, he started 21st and has worked his way up already. Pagenaud being
Ray on the
13th.
push to pass as he makes a move down the inside of Hinchcliffe and gets the position.
That was second. Ryan Hunter Ray up to second now in front of James Hinchcliffe. Now he chases after Dixon. Again, Scott Dixon out in front. Marty.
And Rick, it's going to be a cat and mouse game as Paul and Townsend were talking about. Now Scott Dixon kind of slowing down. You see when that caution came out, that opened up the window for these guys to do it much easier on 2 stops. Originally, Dixon and those guys might have been thinking 3 stops, but now with a caution, they want to keep the lead but save as much fuel as they can. And nobody's better at that than Scott Dixon, Kevin.
Marty, if Sebastian Bourdais wins 2 in a row, he's again going to have to do it from the back. Despite starting mid-pack, he's all the way back in the back, next to last. He took contact on the opening lap. Dale Coyne doesn't know how, but they had to come in and change the rear wing, Katie.
And for the 2nd race in a row, Charlie Kimball involved in an early incident on track. Charlie, what happened?
Yeah, I went through the fountain and got a pretty good exit. I think I got clear of the 12 car. I thought I was clear. Went into turn 4 and about the apex, he got into the back of me and turned me, put me into the wall pretty heavy. It's frustrating because the Novo Nordisk team, the 83 crew, worked so hard this weekend. We didn't have a great day Friday, but we had a really good day yesterday, ending up 7th in qualifying, less than 100th out of the Fast 6. So I feel for these guys. They worked so hard all weekend. We had a fast race car, and unfortunately, when you're street racing like you are here at Long Beach, these things happen. But it caught me out at St. Pete, caught me out here. So hopefully we're saving up some luck for Barber, Phoenix, and then especially at Indianapolis.
Charlie will watch his teammate fight for the lead now. Marty.
And Katie just checking in on Will Power. He's all the way in the back of the field at 18th. That's who Charlie Kimball crashed with earlier on. He has a lot of work cut out for him. But the good news is, and I know this is what you guys were questioning, Paul, when he came down pit road, he said the steering wheel was straight. So no damage to the suspension. They did put on a front wing. And Will told me before the weekend started, if you go back to last year, we had 3 straight DNFs. They had the fuel pump issue at St. Pete. He can get to the front, but it's going to take all afternoon to get there. He's got a quick car.
I'll tell you who's working his way to the front is Newgarden. He was just on the push to pass 2 laps in a row. Got by Castroneves and Ray Halls. We hear now with the Lotion, who's also making moves. He started fairly far back, now up to 11th, just ahead of Pagenaud, as we see Pagenaud closing down on him.
And again, push to pass, they get an extra about 60 horsepower if they push that
That's what they say, and it really, really makes a difference on the long shoreline straight as Pagenaud's just on a tear here. We knew he had a really fast car. Had it not been for the qualifying penalty, he would have been up front, but now he's charging through the field, and it's going to be fun to watch him the rest of the day.
Yeah, Pagenaud had actually set the track record in the first round of qualifying, but because of qualifying interference, his times were disallowed, and he wasn't allowed to advance into the next round.
So Mikhail Loshin get big sideways there coming out of the hairpin in first gear.
Take a look at the Firestone telemetry on the bottom of the screen. 177 miles an hour
in the draft. So that wasn't even on push to pass. We're going to see guys creep over 180 miles an hour on the front straightaway.
Great speeds, and then the braking definitely comes into play as they have to slam on the brakes to make that left-hand turn in turn one. Kevin.
As we watch Simon Pagenaud work on picking up another spot, he's already up 9 spots. Kyle Moyer calls the strategy. All right, I know you were planning on a 3-stop strategy, maybe coming in as soon as now. How does the early yellow change things?
Well, I think it just delays it. I think we'll still stay on a 3-stop, but I mean, we're halfway there almost. So, you know, he's passing a car every 2 laps, and you know, the car's really good. The Menard car's been good all weekend. We just had a hiccup there in qualifying, so we'll get him up front, and I think we'll see what we can do. Real quick shout out to Will. Miss you here. Hope you get well.
Thank you. Kyle Moyer.
Pagenaud now all over the back of the 7 of Mikhail Loshin.
He's got a run on him here, but Mikhail, he's known to be a tough guy to pass. But look at this. He's drafting up now on the push to pass. There he's straight on by. He's passing a car every 2 laps.
As long as he keeps passing, they'll keep him out. As soon as he starts to stagnate, I think they'll pull him in for the first of those 3 pit stops.
See the indicator, the LED indicators on the side of the cars, letting everyone know all the way around this street course what position these cars are in. Everybody knows Scott Dixon out in front. He's been able to get 1 Long Beach win. Can he make it 2 today?
Pit stop just a moment ago, guys. Tony Kanaan coming down pit road, and Will Power also coming down pit road. And the one car also in, Kevin.
Simon Pagenaud playing his strategy. He is picking up spots already. 11 so far. He'd worked his way up to 10, and now they want to really work out quick laps with hopefully some clean track.
And Pagenaud with those shiny sticker reds, so he's going to have to make those quick laps happen right now with fresh tires.
Telling you what's going to happen. You got guys going off strategy, but I'm watching Hunter Ray. He is sitting right on Dixon's back wing, a half a second behind him. Watch him try to go a lap further than Dixon and leapfrog him on that out lap. So this is all going to be key coming up here.
And the closer Hunter Ray can stay to Dixon, the better mileage he'll get down the straightaway. Less drag, less fuel burn. As Pagenaud on his out lap got out ahead of Marco Andretti and Michaela Lotion, who also are on a 3-stop strategy.
And again, just a reminder, the fuel window is 26 to 29 laps here at Long Beach. As we look at the push to pass, we've mentioned it numerous times. It does provide 60 horsepower boost. There's 200 seconds total per race. The maximum you can use at one time is 20 seconds, but we are seeing a lot of drivers push the button to give them that boost and then push the button again to shut it back off, so they're conserving that 200 seconds that they have of push to pass. And we see Marco Andretti slow on the track.
Not
sure if he hit something
I think he got sideways and hit the wall coming off on cold tires, so I think he brushed the wall and broke the rear suspension.
It happened in turn 5.
Car's coming up behind him very quickly, Kevin.
Marco was screaming on the radio a moment ago. We'll watch and see if he did brush the wall, but it sounds like it might be possibly a mechanical issue because they said we're looking into it. We'll try to find out, but he's obviously way off the pace right now.
No obvious damage to the car, but he's staying out here. Now he's got to get out of the way. They're trying to figure out what the issue is on the racetrack, which is smart. Under green flag, the last thing you want to do is come to pit lane. He's going to try to maybe cycle the ignition, and let's see what happened. We're on board with the Lotion. That's Marco Andretti up ahead.
Off the course.
Looked to me like the rear locked up, like the gearbox froze or something.
Something really strange happened. We saw him run way wide, and now he's been really off the pace, so really odd.
Marco Andretti, the 30-year-old. His dad, Michael Andretti, the team owner. His grandfather, Mario Andretti. And Helio Castroneves on pit road, as is Carlos Munoz.
It's a fast stop for Castroneves, a 6.5, as we see the Foyt team was at 8.5, so 2 seconds quicker. You see that 6.5, that was how quick his stop was. That's as fast as I've seen today.
Interesting that Castroneves abandons the 2-stop strategy.
Can I mention
so with that bad start, they're going to go for it here. Here comes Pagenaud. So this is a race for position. Castroneves will be on cold tires. Pagenaud on sticker hot reds. He'll catch him very fast here in the next 2 corners.
Yeah, his chance is going to be going down into turn 6, so he's going to have to make a run on it right here. He's still on cold tires. If Castroneves is able to get through 6, he should be able to hold him up, but Pagenaud's got to make it happen right here, and he knows it.
Look to the inside and makes the pass. Great call, PT.
See, now Castroneves' tires are up. You have to make it happen by turn 6, or else the guy that's just come out, his tires will be back up to temperature.
Now this is a back straight, and they'll go upwards of 160, 162 miles an hour as we see rookie Ed Jones coming out of his pit stall.
And he was having a great run, so he's on the 3-stop strategy as well. Had a nice solid 10th place finish in the first race at St. Pete.
Ed Jones began racing in karting back when he was 9 years old. He was born in Dubai. Marco Andretti got a black flag as we see Connor Daly now chasing after Will Power.
Looks like pretty impressive pace, Paul, from Connor Daly. They struggled a little bit with setup as Marco Andretti now coming to a complete stop.
Yeah, on the track.
I wonder if his throttle stuck wide open for a second. You know, now it's gone into like a limp mode, like it's like shut the ignition down.
We've seen electronic control issues all weekend with some of the Hondas, Marty.
And guys, you see Scott Dixon coming down pit road. This was a little bit earlier than we expected them to come down pit road. They're going to try and make it on 2 stops, but it's going to be tough to do that from here. So Scott Dixon's going to come in. They're going to put on the primary sticker tires. And Dixon told me, he said the one thing, Newgarden also coming down pit road, we have not been good on the red tires. So he got those primary tires on. Joseph Newgarden leading pit road as well. So these guys that we thought were going to do 2 stops might be doing 3 here, guys, pitting on lap 16.
And Hunter Ray is still on track. He is in the lead now, and he's got to lay down some wicked fast laps if he's going to jump ahead of Dixon here in the next lap or two.
Well, but if Hunter Ray sticks with a two-stop strategy, it'll be several laps before Hunter Ray pits, so we'll have to see how it plays out. Here's Pagenaud.
Pagenaud just making his way into turn one and past the fountain. So out front, it's Hunter Ray, James Hinchcliffe running second, Alexander Rossi, Graham Rahal, and Spencer Pigot are the top 5.
Telling you what, this is exactly how Sebastian Vettel won the first F1 race. He stayed out longer than Lewis Hamilton. As we look at Hunter Ray, he doesn't come in, so he's going to run a couple more laps and lay down some fast lap times, and I will guarantee that he beats Dixon out of the pits.
Okay, well, we'll see. It's going to have to be at least 10 more laps if he's going to do it on 2 stops. I'm watching the pace, 1:08.8. Really surprised to see Scott Dixon abandon the 2-stop strategy. Dixon, generally the best in the field at saving fuel and stretching the mileage. So obviously he's finding that the pace is going to have to come from the 3-stop strategy.
I'll tell you what, though, you put Ryan Hunter-Reay in the lead, he is so motivated to win a race. He gets so frustrated when things aren't going well. If you give him a sniff, he's going to go after it.
Ryan Hunter-Reay out in front. He's won here before. It was back in 2010. That was very significant because that win came after his mother passed in 2009 of colon cancer. And that actually goes back to why he has the number 28 on his car. Ryan Hunter-Reay has 28 because there are 28 million people worldwide that are fighting cancer right now. And that is what he continues to do, is spread the word that more needs to be done to fight cancer. So that's why the number 28 on the car of the leader, Ryan Hunter-Reay.
And not only has Hunter-Reay used great poise and been very patient at the front, he also hasn't used push to pass very much. He has the most left in the bag out of the entire field. 193 seconds of push to pass remain for Hunter-Reay.
I think he's got a really fast car. Obviously, he's making fuel mileage right now. He was able to just sit right on the back of Dixon, so he's got plenty of push to pass, more than anybody else behind him.
And Paul, you talked before the race about the advantage that Honda has coming here to Long Beach. Right now, Honda locks down the top 4 positions. Marty?
Hey guys, checking in with Mike Hull and Tim Cindric as to why both Joseph Newgarden and Scott Dixon abandoned the 2-stop strategy. They said, number 1, they thought there might be a caution for Marco Andretti on the racetrack, and he said, number 2, there were only about 7 or 8 cars that were going to play the 2-stop strategy. So come in, make it a 3-stop race, go as hard as you can then on the racetrack, and they only lost a couple spots by doing that. So that's the theory of why they pitted now and abandoned that 2-stop strategy.
And that's what we heard out of Tony Kanaan when Marty talked to him earlier. Actually, when Robin talked to him earlier, he said, this is a race. I'm going as hard as I can. He wasn't going to give up his strategy, but at the same time, he almost told us it was going to be a 3-stop race.
The issue you have is right now, it could work for Dixon because he's got open road. But if he catches Bourdais and Pigot, I don't think that they can run at the pace that he is going to allow him to overcome the advantage that Hunter-Reay has right now.
Really solid run so far from this guy, Graham Rahal. Very quick here last year, especially on the long run. Rahal team had a great setup to take care of the tires over the stint. Remember, no yellows at all last year, so Graham Rahal right now looking like he could be a contender over the stretch today.
4-time winner in the IndyCar Series. His last win came last year at Texas. Katie.
Michael Andretti, the team owner for the current leader, Ryan Hunter-Reay. Michael, why did you guys decide not to stop with the other leader, Scott Dixon?
Well, I think Scott's pitted because he thought the yellow was going to come out, but our strategy has been to go on 2-stopper, so we're going to stick to it. I mean, the yellow comes out, we're sunk, but if it doesn't, I think we're looking pretty good.
Any word on what happened to Marco?
No, I haven't heard. No.
Thanks, Michael.
I'll tell you what, he's going to need to run a little bit. He just ran an 8.3. The last 2 laps were 8.6 and 8.5, and Dixon is running 8.0, so he had about a 6 or 7 tenth advantage on speed, but as we talked about it, Hunter-Reay picked up the pace.
Well, and Hunter-Reay's got 2 more stops. Dixon would have 2 more stops, but Hunter-Reay has a 35-second lead.
First laps that Ryan Hunter-Reay has led on a street course since leading 3 laps at St. Pete a year ago. Nothing like playoff hockey. Stanley Cup playoffs begin Wednesday on the networks of NBC Universal. On Thursday, Graham Rahal was able to attend the Anaheim Ducks. He took it in, and again, playoffs starting Wednesday. He's a huge hockey fan. And welcome back to the Toyota Grand Prix of Long Beach. Still out front, Ryan Hunter-Reay. He has just under a second lead over James Hinchcliffe, Alexander Rossi, Graham Rahal, and Sebastian Bourdais, the top 5.
Tell you what, Townsend, we were just talking about it during the break. Hunter-Reay's pace is pretty remarkable considering he's saving fuel. So obviously his car and the cars behind him, they all must be working pretty good because they're running 8 threes, 8 fours.
What does this tell you about the Reds and being able to maintain a pretty good pace even 23, 24 laps into a run?
Well, we've seen that the last few years on the Firestone Reds. Remember, Hunter-Reay will have to run the blacks at some point, but right now I'm not seeing a huge pace difference between the red and the blacks, but the strategy of 2 stops right now looks spot on for Hunter-Reay, Hinch, and Rossi. Marty?
And I tell you, Townsend, also take into consideration, and what Mike Hull told me a moment ago, these leaders are going to start catching some lap traffic. That was another reason they thought it was an advantage for Scott Dixon and Joseph Newgarden to bail on the 2-stop strategy. James Hinchcliffe is running in second, and they're going to come here in a couple of laps. But keep in mind, that first caution really opened the window for these guys. They can now pit about lap 28 or 29, and that will allow them to make it clearly on 2 stops. These leaders starting to catch some traffic here, and Connor Daly, the first one they'll catch.
Yeah, you're right, Marty. Every 2 laps of caution gets you another lap of green flag running.
They're catching Connor Daly as the last car here on the lead lap, and just in front of him, a couple seconds in front of him, is Will Power. So don't think that these guys are going to make it easy for these guys. There's Will right there and Connor. So here's your leader. Don't think that these guys are just going to move over and let him go by.
But to make 2 stops work, you have to get to at least lap 27, 28, I believe.
And again, I'll do the math for you. It's an 85-lap race. You go 28, 28, that's 56. 28 more is 84. So as you mentioned, maybe a little bit longer in the last stint or the middle stint.
But you have to remember the fuel burned on the pace laps, okay? So you've got effectively like 2 pace laps to start it, but then you had the yellow. That helps you. So I think you need to go 27 and then 29, 29 on your stints. That's what I think these Hondas can do. We'll see how anxious Hunter-Reay is to get around Connor Daly as he gets close. Right now, I think he's just worried about maintaining the gap to Hinchcliffe and his teammate Alexander Rossi. The action's going to come, guys, on those outlaps under green flag when they stop.
The issue you have is once they get on the radio and tell Connor and Power, hey, the leader's behind you, pick it up. So these guys have now just picked it up. They're running the same pace, so they don't want to get lapped. So they were making fuel mileage and trying to do this 2-stop, but now the leader's behind you, and they don't want to go a lap down.
And the leaders are potentially doing the 2-stop as well, so Connor Daly really in a tough situation.
Yep, now we're at lap 27 starting, so we are in the pit window.
We got Spencer Piggott. 13 positions this guy's made. He started way at the back. He had a great run at St. Pete, and he is up to 6th place, running by himself, running good laps. So look at this guy. He's making a lot of moves.
And a lot of fans here for him. He was born in Pasadena, California, the 23-year-old.
A lot of those 13 positions, though, are guys that pitted early that opted for the 3-stop. But nonetheless, Spencer Pigot doing what he needs to do to make a 2-stop work, and he's in the top 6.
And again, now competing lap 27 of the 85. Ryan Hunter-Reay just about a half a second in front of James Hinchcliffe. Alexander Rossi about a second and a half back. We see Alexander Rossi in the 98, that blue and yellow Napa car coming into the scene.
Now the pace of Daly has picked up. He just ran an 8.7, and Hunter-Reay this last lap at 8.9. So they have definitely, the turbulence, Townsend, from the car in front has slowed these guys up a little bit because they were down in the low 8s, and Dixon is still ripping off laps at 8.3, 8.4. So there's a 6, 7, 10 advantage right now. Hunter-Reay the last lap at 9.0, which is one of his slower laps.
Dixon needs to average better than a half a second advantage over Hunter-Reay to make that 3-stop work. Again, assuming no yellows. Right now, Dixon 31 seconds back from Hunter-Reay.
What's the delta in the pit lane? I think you calculated
about 35 seconds you lose on a pit stop with the time running down that long Long Beach pit lane. So right now, if Hunter-Reay pits, he should come out probably just behind Dixon. But then he'll only have one more stop, and Dixon will have 2.
Well, that would break my guarantee that Hunter-Reay would come out in front. So come on, Hunter-Reay, let's pick it up and get around these lap cars.
Careful what you say on live TV.
I believe you're not ever supposed to guarantee anything, but I like the confidence. So again, the top 3 nose to tail now.
And I think what's going to be great is right here. Here's the pit stop battle.
Hinchcliffe and Rossi have decided to come to pit road, leaving Ryan Hunter-Reay out on the track. Katie.
And Alexander Rossi, we talked about him earlier. He's already won the biggest race in IndyCar. Now he's fighting up front for the very first time on a street course in his home state. He's been fairly quiet on the radio. No changes for him. He just wants the Firestone. Oh, and actually a turn of front wing, Marty.
Turn of front wing for James Hinchcliffe as well, and a quick stop for these guys. 8.5, he leaves pit road. He said on the radio, why did Dixon bail on the 2-stop strategy? They told him focus on our strategy, so they're sticking with their 2-stop strategy here for James Hinchcliffe, and a slight adjustment. Scott Dixon just goes by. We'll see where Hinch cycles out with everybody else.
So Ryan Hunter-Reay able to go 1 lap further at least, which is a big advantage, Paul, as you know, because if you come out on cold tires ahead as Pagenaud comes through.
Pagenaud, he's going right by, and Newgarden will get Rossi as well.
Maybe.
Hopefully he doesn't stuff it down into this next corner. We've seen disasters here. Rossi blocks.
Newgarden needs to wait. He needs to wait for that little short straight to turn 6.
He can set it up here. Just set it up, Joseph, and get the run. He's sideways coming off the corner. Push to pass is on. Rossi blocks the inside. He's got him. But now we got to watch for Hunter-Reay. I would expect him to pit, and I think that him and Dixon are going to come out side by side, Kevin.
Ryan Hunter-Reay has been silent on the radio. The only chatter has been from Ray Gosselin telling him, "Bud, I really just need you to save fuel." And they said, "Do you want any changes, Ryan?" He said, "Absolutely not, just Firestone Blacks."
Alexander Rossi getting chewed up there on cold tires, but Ryan Hunter-Reay, that long ride, there's the pit speed line. He's under full power. The question is, where is Hinch?
He's gone. Dixon has gone by.
Dixon passed him.
I know, but that's on a different strategy. So this is the race here. Hinchcliffe with Pagenaud all over him.
And Ryan Hunter-Reay able to stay in front of Hinchcliffe. Can he hang on to it now with the colder tires?
He's up to temperature now, so Hinchcliffe has got it under control now, but
that's the advantage of going 1 lap longer. Hunter-Reay out front. Here comes Graham Rahal.
Rahal cycles back out.
Bourdais just behind Graham Rahal. You'll see Bourdais is counted as the leader right now. Dixon
that's actually Ed Jones.
That's Ed Jones. It's behind Graham Rahal.
We've got Bourdais as the leader, who's done 2 stops. Dixon now has done in second place. So if I'm Hunter-Reay and I've only got to do 1 more stop, all he's got to do is just sit on Dixon.
Kevin.
So despite that early problem in a rear wing change, Sebastian Bourdais has come from the back. He was running 5th before those leaders came in, and he's going to be on the same sequence as several, so he's still got an opportunity for a good result out of this one. He takes the scuffed red Firestones that time in Sunoco Fuel.
What a pass Ed Jones put on Graham Rahal there in the side-by-side. Takuma Sato also gets by Graham Rahal. I wonder if Rahal has an issue.
Sebastian Bourdais now will have just one stop before the checkered flag.
Looks like the blacks, it's quite a handful, Paul, getting up to speed and getting temperature in the tires as Sebastian Bourdais comes back out on the track.
A lot of guys are coming out on stickers and they're running against guys that are already on hot tires, so they're getting swallowed up and eaten alive.
Takuma Sato in the 26, just in front of Graham Rahal.
We saw Rossi really struggle on the cold blacks getting up to speed, and Graham Rahal now up to speed, but it's a handful trying to hold off cars on hot tires behind.
Hunter Ray's been touching that push to pass button. He's down to 184 seconds, so he's been using a little bit, but Dixon is down to 149 seconds, so he's got quite a bit in hand.
And look at the big loss for Alexander Rossi, the gap that he lost to Hunter Ray and Hinchcliffe on that cycle of pit stops.
That's the outlap cold tires.
Now Simon Pagenaud coming to his crew.
Simon Pagenaud's second pit stop. He's been able to make up a lot of ground to get into the top 7 or 8 before these pit stop sequences continued. We'll see if he can continue to pick up more and get higher and closer to the front.
Pagenaud now cycles down to 11th. He'll probably drop a couple more positions here, so not where he wants to be. The battle at the front is still with the Honda guys. Hunter Ray, Hinchcliffe, and now Newgarden, who has moved up through the field, the lone Chevy, and Castro Neves recovering to 5th.
If no more cautions come out, Ryan Hunter Ray in a perfect position.
Oh, yeah.
One more stop for him.
And Hinchcliffe and Rossi.
We know that Scott Dixon, who's currently the leader, will have to come to pit road at least 2 more times.
I would expect Scott Dixon on the 3-stop strategy to hit pit road around lap 41, something like that.
And that's just 8 laps from now. Again, Scott Dixon out in front of the field at Long Beach. You're watching NBCSN's coverage of IndyCar, brought to you by Verizon. Go inside IndyCar all season. Download IndyCar Mobile from Verizon.
like this.
Welcome back to Long Beach. Those of you that have recorded the NASCAR race from Texas, mute your television now. I'm going to tell you the winner. Congratulations, Jimmy Johnson, on winning at Texas in the NASCAR race, and welcome those of you that were watching that race. We are at lap 36 of 85. Out in front, Scott Dixon on a different strategy than second place Ryan Hunter-Reay. Scott Dixon will have to pit 2 more times. Ryan Hunter-Reay only 1 more time. Marty.
Hey guys, they would love to leave Scott Dixon out as long as he can. They have fairly free road. You see that car right in front of them, but the 28 car, Ryan Hunter-Reay, is in much worse traffic. So his teammate Tony Kanaan coming down pit road right now. They too on the 3-stop strategy. Mikel Aloshin also leaving pit road, or getting ready to leave pit road, finishing up his stop. Tony Kanaan said, we've absolutely lost all rear grip on the car, so they're going to make a change here to the chassis. Also 4 tires going on. It's those red tires going on for Tony Kanaan, waiting on that fuel. We'll see when his teammate Scott Dixon comes down pit road.
Hunter-Reay is losing now about a half a second to 3/4 a second a lap. He's got to get more aggressive, Townsend, and get on the back of Daly and get by that lap car.
But it's helping Hunter-Reay that Dixon now has caught Hildebrand, who doesn't want to go a lap down. So traffic is going to factor heavily. I expect Dixon's probably going to try to pit sooner rather than later, as soon as he's in his window, and get back in clean air.
It looks as though Tony Kanaan actually put the primary blacks on that pit stop as he comes out and works his way by the fountain. Once again, you have to run both compounds during the race. You have to run at least a lap under the reds and at least a lap under the blacks. A lot have shown that they like the red compound, the softer compound, better. They're seeing great speed out of that tire compound, as well as being able to hang on, as we see Carlos Munoz come into the pits.
And he is on a 3-stop strategy as well. The team is going to add half a turn of front wing and put him on the red tires for this middle stint. Rick?
Thanks, Katie, as we see the Reds and Carlos Munoz making his way back out. We believe Helio Castroneves will be diving onto pit road here soon as he makes the turn number 8 onto the backstretch. Again, speeds upwards of 160 plus miles an hour, and then a bump right in here in the braking zone. It's been difficult for some drivers all weekend.
Castroneves on a 3-stop strategy, and I think this shows just how strong these Andretti cars are. Castroneves probably needs some fresh rubber. Alexander Rossi stays out. Castroneves to pit lane. Kevin?
Helio Castroneves, Townsend, as you mentioned, is on that 3-stop strategy. So the pole sitter who lost 5 spots going into turn 1 at the beginning, 4th here, but again, he's going to have to stop 1 more time just like everybody else. So it's going to be challenging for Castroneves to get back to the front.
Fast stops for Castroneves, another quick one, a 7.9. I've seen most of the guys doing them in the 8th, so that Penske crew is quick as we see him come back out on track.
Meanwhile, up front, Scott Dixon has lost some of that advantage as he's still stuck behind Hildebrand. That really helps Ryan Hunter-Reay. Their pace is dead even, 1:08.8 for both Dixon and Hunter-Reay.
Simon Pagenaud in the 1, making his way to turn 1 as Helio Castroneves comes off of pit road. Blends back onto the street course.
Another guy still on that 2-stop strategy. Spencer Piggott now up to 7th. He's ahead of Joseph Newgarden, Pagenaud, and Castroneves. So he's the young driver from California running ahead of the powerhouse Penske team right now.
Looking at the big picture, Scott Dixon has almost a 10-second lead over Ryan Hunter-Reay. We know that Scott Dixon will have to pit at least 2 more times. Ryan Hunter-Reay, just 1 more stop for Ryan Hunter-Reay.
Look at this traffic. He's got Sato here. He looks like he's off the pace or has just come out of the pits. And a lot of cars in front of him now that have just come out of the pits. So this is not going to help us. He needs to build a huge gap if he's going to be able to take advantage of the strategy they chose.
Yeah, Paul Sato just out of the pits moments ago on those colder tires. Scott Dixon gets around him, and they're running into a little bit of traffic, but it's a balancing act here for Mike Hull calling the shots for Scott Dixon. He wants to get him to lap 40 or lap 41, and that's going to allow him a shorter fill on the final stop. They know they have to make 2 more stops today, but they want to make that last stop as short as they possibly can. Meanwhile, James Hinchcliffe in 3rd, having the run of his life in one of his adopted hometowns here in LA, but the left side mirror on that car has come loose. I can't imagine,
It's
Townsend and
gone.
Paul, how distracting that must be.
Yeah, that left side mirror is gone. It's not there anymore. So I don't know if that could cause a penalty to be called.
No.
Not having a mirror.
No, they wouldn't call that a penalty. I think as long as you have one, you're probably okay. Frankly, if you had none, I think they'd let you stay out.
James Hinchcliffe, we talked about Dancing with the Stars. James Hinchcliffe involved in a massive accident in practice in the Indy 500 for the Indy 500 back in 2015. Life-threatening injuries. Quick work by the safety crew there.
And Marty
saved his life.
Marty talked about Scott Dixon's strategy in terms of when does he pit to optimize the last stop. I think that what Ganassi really needs to do, and my call, is think about where do they pit him to keep him in clean air. Where do you place him on the track? So we think Dixon might be coming to pit lane this lap.
Again, fuel window anywhere from 26 to 29 laps. Stretching it, they think they can make it 29. So if he comes this lap, he will still have to come one more time. He doesn't dive onto pit road.
I really think they made a bad call on this strategy. I think they thought because they were leading the race that if they pitted, everybody else would follow them, and the Andretti team went the opposite strategy.
I agree, Paul. Last lap, Hunter-Reay half a second faster than Dixon, so that gap is getting smaller. Dixon needs it to get way bigger for this to work.
Again, the gap just under 10 seconds between Scott Dixon and Ryan Hunter-Reay. They're running 1 and 2. James Hinchcliffe is 3rd. Alexander Rossi 4th. Sebastian Bourdais is 5th. Graham Rahal back in 6th. Spencer Pigot is 7th. Joseph Newgarden 8th. Simon Pagenaud 9th, and Helio Castroneves is 10th.
And it's all Honda at the front. Your top Chevy driver right now, Spencer Pigot.
So we see Dixon here. He's lost touch with the car, the 21 car. So he was right on top of that car, and now that car is pulled away from him. So that's what happens when you catch these lap cars. They don't want to go a lap down, and they pick up the pace and try to stay on the lead lap.
I think they've got to bring Dixon in now. Even if he could go further, they need to get him on fresh tires and back out on clean track.
Yep,
and he comes now. He was on pit road last on lap 16, now on lap 42. He comes down to pit road. Marty.
And Rick, we were talking about just such a tough balancing act because as you were mentioning, Townsend, you want to make that last fill as short as possible. You also want to find the clean road as clean as you can, and that's what they were considering down here. That really worked on the last stop. Scott Dixon coming to a stop in his pit stall. They also made a last-second change. They were going to go with sticker primary tires. They go with scuff red tires, a little softer tire, so Dixon can go a little bit harder on this outlap. 7-2 on the stop. The crew did their job. We'll see where Scott blends out.
I think he's going to be really close to Simon Pagenaud, right around 8th or 9th position. So let's see if we can find that bright yellow Menards car coming down Shoreline. Here comes Newgarden and Rahal.
Dixon's going to get
further
out
back.
about the same time as Rahal. Rahal tries to get by him before they go into the fountain turn. Not able to do it.
He will get by him here in the next couple turns. He's got to set it up here. Don't get impatient. Wait for this next corner. He's going to have an advantage coming off this corner right here. Set it up. Get on the push to pass.
Ooh, Dixon had a great exit.
Dixon had a good exit. That's how quick that Scott Dixon is on cold tires, because he should have been able to get by him there.
So many times you'll see a guy with too much oversteer, too aggressive on the throttle, but the Iceman knows how to keep it together.
Scott
and
Dixon.
guys, keep in mind, too, that's one of the reasons Mike Hull put on those red tires, because he knew he was going to put Scott Dixon in a position where he was going to be in traffic for a little while. So, Paul, that helps when you have those red tires. A little softer, you can jump on the pedal a little bit harder earlier on.
Graham Rahal is going to protect that second spot just behind Dixon. Dixon actually running in the 5th position. Rahal is 6th. Spencer Pigot back in 7th.
All of them on the push to pass now. Spencer Pigot on the push to pass, trying to make a move on Rahal. As we see Joseph Newgarden now creeping up on the back of this crew.
Race leader Ryan Hunter-Reay now has about a second lead over James Hinchcliffe, running in the 2nd position. Alexander Rossi, Sebastian Bourdais, and Scott Dixon, the top 5. Dixon has come to pit road. He'll have to make one more stop, as will Hunter-Reay. Can Hunter-Reay hang on and get his 2nd win at Long Beach? He's out front now.
you know?
Yeah.
Come out to Southern California, you think about hot rods, racing. Nothing more exciting than going fast around the street course here in Long Beach. A few drivers fast and furious today on this street course. On April 14th, you can get ready for what's being called the biggest, boldest, Fast and Furious movie yet. It's The Fate of the Furious. That's in theaters on Friday. Out in front, Ryan Hunter-Reay, definitely fast. He's trying to stay in front of James Hinchcliffe, who's a second back. You see those two working their way through 11 and back out onto Shoreline Drive.
Tell you what, Rossi lost a lot of time on his outlap. He got gapped a long way to Hunter-Reay, but he's clawed his way back now to be 2 seconds behind. So he was upwards of 6 or 7 seconds. So he's moving his way back.
A lot of focus is being put on Ryan Hunter-Reay and the distance between Hunter-Reay and Scott Dixon. Scott Dixon is about 20 seconds behind Ryan Hunter-Reay. We know that Dixon will have to stop again, but Ryan Hunter-Reay will have to stop one more time.
Ryan Hunter-Reay will have to stop one more time, but he'll have to go a lot further on the last stint than Scott Dixon. And right now, Scott Dixon is absolutely carving that lead down. He's about a second a lap quicker. I noticed Hunter-Reay not as fast as he was on the red tires earlier.
Sebastian Bourdais won the first race at St. Pete to start off the 2017 season. First time that Dale Coyne has led the points in the IndyCar League. Mentioned Dale Coyne with that big win to start off the season and the point leader. He's standing by with Kevin.
Up to fourth, Sebastian Bourdais after the early problem, and you had to change the rear wing. You got the strategy to get him a win at St. Pete. Has this possibly worked out in your favor again for a result this weekend?
No.
What needs to happen to get the best you can?
The problem is we're saving fuel to do it in 2 stops. We have about 3 or 4 guys behind us that will probably catch us by the end of the race because they're doing it in 3. The wing killed us in the beginning, so we lost all those positions. So. But we still should get a top 10, so going from last to a top 10, I suppose, is a good thing.
Dale Coyne, his guy, has worked his way up into contention, but as he said, it's probably not going to work all the way out as well as it did at St. Pete.
Right now, Bourdais has a 7-second lead on Dixon, and it's nearly 10 back to Newgarden. So it's a long way for those guys to catch up.
Well, the gap, of course, is Hunter-Reay to Dixon, 19 seconds with 38 laps to go. That's exactly half a second a lap that Dixon needs to average to make it work.
And we're looking at about anywhere from 8, 9, 10 laps before we will see Ryan Hunter-Reay make his way onto pit road to make his second and final pit stop for that strategy to work out for them to make it to lap 85.
Watch Will Power here. He has not recovered from that first lap incident. He's just languishing back in 18th place, barely on the lead lap. So it's been a tough day in the office for Will Power.
Will Power, 29-time winner in the Verizon IndyCar Series. As we look at the Chevy driver profile for Will Power, and that is William Power that's being held there by Will, 2014 Series champion. Obviously not happy with the way the race started. This was lap 1. He and Charlie Kimball make contact there in turn 4, and right away a different strategy having to be played out by Will Power.
You see him chasing down Max Chilton. So it's been a tough day in the office for Will Power. Again, he hasn't recovered from that first corner incident. We see Spencer Pigot having a great day right now, running in 8th.
Spencer Pigot had a little bit of trouble in turn 5 this last lap. Take a look.
I think the toughest corner on the track as he white walls it there, coming out of turn 5, off camber and bumpy as you exit there. Not that big a hit, Paul. I wouldn't think that he'd see any damage behind the wheel.
Probably made Loki the Wolf Dog that's on the car a little bit nervous. Loki the Wolf Dog, 1.4 million Instagram followers that's riding along with Spencer Pigot. Katie.
He is up 11 spots in his first start at Long Beach, but Ed, Spencer struggled a little bit with confidence earlier this weekend. What did you say to him before the race today?
I mean, it's his first time here in an IndyCar, so it's a big change. You know, we saw at St. Pete, he took a big step his second time back, but he's doing a really good job in the race. We're asking a lot of him today, saving fuel. It's working so far, so we're just trying to hold off these guys that are running, you know, that have a little more fuel to burn than us, but he's doing a good job, and we'll try to bring the Fuzzy's Vodka car home. What's the plan for the final stint? I mean, we got to save the rest of the way with the strategy we're on, so he's doing a good job.
Thanks, Ed.
Again, the magic number about lap 56, 57 is what everyone's going to be shooting for. If you go from back to front, the 26 to 29 lap fuel window is being played out perfectly right now by Ryan Hunter-Reay, who's out front.
Rick, the question I have is, yes, Scott Dixon can pit around lap 65 in order to short fill the last stop, but then he's exposed to a yellow. Does Dixon pit early as possible to have the advantage in case a yellow comes out? We'll have to see.
But again, they have to get inside of that fuel window for the last stop. It's Ryan Hunter-Reay that's out in front of the field at the prestigious Grand Prix of Long Beach. know what you're saying. Welcome back to the Grand Prix of Long Beach as Ryan Hunter-Reay continues to lead. He has a 0.8 of a second lead over second place James Hinchcliffe.
This race right here, these guys have been running nose to tail virtually from the start of the race, these three cars. So
Toyota takes us through the field. We start with Katie Hargett.
And although Ryan Hunter-Reay is in the lead, the team is just over the radio and saying, "Bud, we really need you to save fuel. The only thing we're asking of you is to stay in front of Hinch." Marty?
James Hinchcliffe in second position. He said the car is, quote, boggy out of the hairpin in turn 4. But the longer they've run, the better they've gotten. He told me Saturday, this is the best car we've ever had at Long Beach. But they lost it a little bit this morning. They've gotten it back here in the race, Katie.
And Alexander Rossi is in third. He has a new engineer this year and a new strategist. He told me before this race that he is just now starting to click with his new engineer, Jeremy Millis.
Dale Coyne just told us that Sebastian Bourdais' quest to go 2 for 2 is not likely to happen as we see Sebastian now come into picture. But he has been, he's told, faster than the others on the same strategy, and it's looking a lot better than it was at one point in this race.
Kevin, it's going to be very interesting to see what happens with the 2 stoppers versus the 3 stoppers. Back there is Scott Dixon. He will not pit until lap 66 or 68. Somewhere in that range, you're going to see the 2 stoppers come down in about 2 laps or so. Dixon told me this morning, I always felt like Long Beach always had my number, but he has finished first and second in his last 2 races, trying to add a second win here at Long Beach. Joseph Newgarden kind of got off that 3-stop strategy a little bit. He'll pit at lap 60 or so. Been very happy with the car, but the strategy's really caught them out. Tim Cindric told him a moment ago, you're doing a very good job of mixing pace versus saving fuel, Katie.
Graham Rahal in 7th. When they unloaded here at Long Beach, Graham was extremely unhappy with the car. They made some big changes before qualifying, and bam, Graham Rahal made the Firestone Fast 6, but now he's extremely unhappy with the car. He has a vibration on the front tires that they're hoping to fix when he stops next. Then Spencer Pigot in 8th. We just heard from his team owner in 8th, and we are thinking that Graham Rahal may pit on this lap. We are waiting, and there he goes. And Kevin.
And Katie, you can see that yellow Menards car, Simon Pagenaud, catching up to him. Pagenaud is going to have to make a stop here in very short order. He picked his way through the field very quickly, but he stalled a little bit here once he's gotten into the top 10, running 9th right now. And then behind him, we see his teammate Helio Castroneves, who continues to challenge him, but Helio was hoping for so much more, looking for his first win since Detroit in 2014 with a pole start. He felt he had a great opportunity, but lost all those positions at the start, and now is just trying to salvage something, Katie.
And Carlos Munoz in 11th. That whole team at AJ Foyt Racing is still making a lot of adjustments. 2 new drivers, an entirely new engineer team, and a new aero kit. Lee?
It's not been a bad run for Mikhail Loshin as we continue to take an eye on Munoz, and there we see Mikhail Loshin coming in. He's not been totally happy with the car, but said it's been good enough that he can do something with, and he's done a nice job of moving up from 16th to 12th right now, Marty.
And guys, the leaders coming down pit road. Katie, I believe you have Ryan Hunter-Reay, don't you?
I do, Marty. Ryan Hunter-Reay, the leader, making his final stop of the day. The team is just asking him to save fuel. The only call they made is what tires did they want. We also see his teammate, Alexander Rossi, making his final stop of the day, and Ryan Hunter-Reay beating his teammate, Alexander Rossi, out back on the track.
Race right now is going to be Hinchcliffe has stayed out on the track 1 extra lap, so we'll see if Hinchcliffe comes to the pits next time around. This could be an advantage for James.
And these 2 guys, Hunter-Reay and Rossi, are going to have to go 30 laps to the finish. That's going to require very, very tight fuel use to make it work.
See the difference on the out lap. Hunter-Reay has already stretched it out on Rossi. Rossi just not as quick. He struggled on his out laps the last time, and Hunter-Reay is kind of streaking away from him here, but he's got cars in front of him. Lockup right there by Rossi.
Rossi was able to get by James Hinchcliffe before they got onto pit road, so Rossi was actually running second behind Ryan Hunter-Reay. This was the pass.
And look, on the outside going to turn 1, Hinchcliffe was defending, gave it up, and Rossi had the position. You can see there the blinking PP pushed to pass Hinchcliffe on pit road.
Marty.
And give a call to his engineers and strategists for making that call. They were coming to pit road. They saw Ryan Hunter-Reay pit. They saw they had enough fuel to make it 1 more lap, and they kept James Hinchcliffe out there. 8-8 on the stop, a turn of wing, and fresh sticker, red tire for James Hinchcliffe. We'll see what he cycles out with Hunter-Reay.
And Graham Rahal also making his final pit stop of the day. I told you earlier he felt a tire vibration on the front tires on those blacks. He was extremely unhappy. They're going to do reds for the final stint. Spencer Pigot also making his final stop of the day on blacks. Rick?
We'll see where these guys cycle out, and James Hinchcliffe has come out in front of Hunter Ray. He went that extra lap further. We missed it on the exit because we were in the pits, but he went one lap further, and even though he got held up a little bit by Rossi starting that lap because he got past, that extra lap put him in front.
And he has an extra lap of fuel burn ahead of those two Andretti teammates. Now, Sebastian Bourdais shown as your leader, but he's about to pit soon. And then that leaves Scott Dixon to make a gap as best he can and try to close this out. Look at these two guys. They do not want to race each other right here.
Sebastian Bourdais in for his stop, and he's going to take Sunoco fuel, and he's got sticker red, faster Firestone Firehawks.
So Bourdais going to be coming out on the reds, but he'll start falling down the scoring list now.
Tough situation, Paul, when you're trying to save fuel like Rossi and Hunter Ray, but then Hunter Ray's trying to race Rossi.
Rossi's by Hunter Ray. He got by him somewhere in there that we missed, and we'll see Pagenaud now in the pits.
Pagenaud has his stop, and he will come out of the pits. Simon Pagenaud, a winner here a year ago, went on to win the championship. He even mentioned the fact that got on a little bit of a roll, won the next 2 races, won 3 in a row, starting right here at Long Beach in 2016. Went on to win the championship.
Pagenaud kind of bailing on the pure 3-stop strategy, pitting now because they know if they get a yellow, that'll help him leapfrog some cars like Scott Dixon, who would be caught out. What Scott Dixon can't afford is a yellow flag right now. That would be a disaster for him. It's what happened at Toronto last year, so this is the highest risk time for Scott Dixon.
The gap between Scott Dixon and James Hinchcliffe, who is now in front of Ryan Hunter-Ray, 20 seconds.
Yes.
20.6 seconds, that gap. But again, we know that Scott Dixon will have to come to pit road. James Hinchcliffe does not any longer.
That's correct. So Scott needs to, Scott's going to try to build that gap as best he can right now, but then on his final stint, he'll be able to go faster than anybody in front of him. It's going to be close coming to the wire.
Tell you what, he's got a long way to go. He's got to build another 7 or 8 second gap to even make it close, because the delta is 33, 34
That's
seconds.
right, Paul,
so.
but that's just for track position. Remember the final stint, Dixon will be able to run full fuel on fresh tires. He'll be much faster as well there.
Well, we think James Hinchcliffe may have to be conserving because he's got to go at least 28 laps from when he was on pit road.
We know he's going to have to conserve.
This is shaping up to be a throwdown at the end of the race, because I think that Dixon is going to come out behind these guys, but he's going to be on fresher tires, and he's going to be on full fuel, so it's going to be a race at the end. Dixon now under threat from Newgarden here.
Uh-oh.
What is going on here?
Dixon cannot
Blocking
afford to lose that position, get caught.
Left and right all over the track there. So what is going on with these two?
Well, they say you can be proactive defending, not reactive defending. So the double move, the zigzag, is really pushing the limit. Scott Dixon trying to hang on. He doesn't want to fall behind Newgarden.
Joseph Newgarden running second behind Scott Dixon. Scott Dixon once again scored as the race leader. Dixon's strategy, he'll have to come to pit road one more time.
Tell you what, if Newgarden gets by him and is able to pull away more, it looks right now that Newgarden is faster than Dixon. He might have a chance at getting his first win.
Oh, for sure, for sure.
Our Chevy driver update gives us a look at the top Chevy drivers in today's race so far, and we were just talking about Joseph Newgarden running in second right now and aggressively trying to take over that top spot.
He's on him right here. Oh, he dives off, so he's peeled off for the pits. So I would expect Dixon to come here in the next couple laps.
Watching the pace of Scott Dixon, 109.8. Dixon's struggling to hit that pace that he needs on the 3-stop strategy.
Marty.
And Joseph Newgarden clearly in attack mode, Rick, there at the end of that run. They're going to put on sticker red tires. He was very happy with the chassis. They've made improvements on it all day long. A little bit longer on the right front tire getting on for this Newgarden team. And 7 or 8, 5 on the stop for Newgarden. We'll see where he cycles out, Kevin.
Talking fuel strategy, and this goes along from what I'm hearing what Townsend is saying. Simon Pagenaud on a similar strategy, pitting on lap 58, similar to Rossi, Hinchcliffe, and some others. He was told you can run hard for a couple of laps, but then we're going to have to save. So I think we still have a lot of things still in play.
For some reason, Scott Dixon has lost pace. That last lap was a 109.8. And remember earlier in the race, he was running down in the low 8s. So
Yeah, Paul, you're right. The gap now at 18 seconds to Hinchcliffe, and Newgarden racing Dixon really hurt that average pace, which is critical to make this strategy work out.
Last lap for Hinchcliffe was an 8.4, and Dixon was a 9.8. So that's a big time gap there. And I don't know maybe there's something going on with Dixon's car as he comes to the pits.
And here comes Scott Dixon, race leader on pit road now, headed your way, Marty.
They didn't want to leave him out too long. They probably could have gone another lap or so, but clearly, as you guys mentioned, he was losing pace out there. James Hinchcliffe making the turn to come on the front stretch. One thing to keep in mind, on the last stop, they put on scuffed red tires for Scott Dixon, so maybe lost a little bit of pace at the end of that run because of that. We talked about the short fill, but a long stop, over 10 seconds for Scott Dixon and his team. Let's see where he cycles out. James Hinchcliffe has already gone by.
He'll cycle way behind Hinchcliffe and Hunter Ray and Rossi, but he'll able to use a lot more fuel. He's going to have to go 10/10. There's the
Something
yellow.
wrong with Alexander Rossi in the 98. He's slow on the track.
Looks like an oil fire on the right-hand side, probably drive line related.
Dixon now is way behind Hinchcliffe. I think that he's going to pull it off into a safe spot, but that was a slow stop by Dixon, and I really think that cost him the race.
No, I think this is good for Dixon because that gap goes to 0 under full course caution.
Here we go.
Full course caution
will close the field.
Alexander Rossi stopped on the front stretch. Katie, what's going on with the 98?
Rick, he just came over the radio and said, guys, I blew up. So looks like the day is definitely done for our Indy 500 champ, Alexander Rossi.
Well, here's the problem Dixon's got. He's got fresh reds, but now he's got to get by Newgarden, Bourdais, Hunter Ray, and Hinchcliffe. And every one of those guys is as tough a customer as they get.
One of the other things is these two caution laps, at least two caution laps, are going to be able to save a little more fuel for the guys up front like Hinchcliffe, Hunter Ray, and Bourdais, who were saving fuel.
There's two sides of it. Dixon eliminates about the 9-second gap that he was going to have to make up, but as you say, Hunter Ray is going to be able to burn more fuel along with Hinchcliffe and Bourdais. So I think Dixon and Newgarden are going to be flying because they can burn more fuel on fresher tires. It's going to be really great on the restart.
I think Newgarden might be in the driver's seat here for his first win.
You speak of flying, and Helio Castroneves, before he came to pit road, he had turned the fastest lap of the race at just over 67 seconds, 107.7, but then he sped on pit road. He has a speeding violation, and so Helio will have to do a drive-through penalty.
Taking another look here at Scott Dixon's pit stop.
Fueler had a problem getting the nozzle in. He jammed on it a couple times there, and it was just a long stop. Very, very uncharacteristic of the Ganassi team.
Well, that disadvantage really negated except for the fact that he would have maybe had a chance to get in front of Newgarden on that cycle of pit stops. So we're going to see just a terrific restart here. A lot of action.
And remember, push to pass. We've talked about that. We've thrown it out a few times. Sebastian Bourdais probably in the best position, 135 seconds of push to pass. Hinchcliffe has just under 100 seconds at 99. Hunter Ray has 81 seconds. Dixon with 98 seconds as far as push to pass. Out in front, James Hinchcliffe leading the field in Long Beach. Hinchcliffe trying to accomplish what he had never before, winning at Long Beach. Verizon IndyCar Series continues on NBCSN. Join us in 2 weeks, Sunday, April 23rd, for the Honda Indy Grand Prix of Alabama at 3 o'clock Eastern. What a great battle it was. Surprising. Graham Rahal fighting hard to try to get that win. The celebration was all Simon Pagenaud. Again, that's Sunday, April 23rd, 3 o'clock Eastern for the Honda Indy Grand Prix of Alabama. And be sure to tune in early for IndyCar Next, featuring James Hinchcliffe at 2:30. Fans getting a great show here in Long Beach. Beautiful weather. And now we will have a restart. Everyone has bunched back up. Everyone should be able to get to the checkered flag as far as fuel is concerned, so it should be a race to that checker.
I'll tell you what, this saves a lot of fuel for these guys. They've been under yellow here for 3 laps now, so this is a big help for these Honda cars that are sitting up front.
Marty.
Rick, story of the day, 2 stops versus 3 stops. Can Scott Dixon win this thing? Let's chat with Mike Hall. And back in 5th, can the driver get it done from there?
Well, we hope so. He's got plenty of speed. You know, it's like trying to pass. I know people could probably relate to this. If you're going down the highway, a 2-lane highway, and you've got 20 motorcycles in front of you, it's pretty hard to get around them, even if you're trying to get around one at a time. This is street racing, and so we always kind of try to use patience to get to the end and then see what happens. If your car is whole, then you have a shot at it. We have a great car, great driver, and certainly a great team. And the best thing is we're racing in Long Beach.
How tough has it been on top of the pit stand today? 3 stops versus 2 stops all afternoon long.
Well, I don't know. You know, the thing is we got banged pretty hard at St. Pete because we used that other strategy, and because IndyCar has chosen to close the pit lane every time they have a full course yellow. I guess it makes the race great for people to watch, people that run mid-pack, but we prefer it the other way.
It's stressful up here in the pit box. I'll translate all that for you. Beautiful day here in Long Beach, and as Mike said, always fun to race here. The crowd is here, the finish is coming. Don't go anywhere.
Marbles are probably sleeping the whole time.
Welcome back to the Toyota Grand Prix of Long Beach, where we are still under caution. And while we get some track cleanup still undergoing, we're going to talk to Michael Andretti, the team owner of Ryan Hunter-Reay, who is in second. Michael, we heard from Mike Hull earlier, who's on Scott Dixon's stand on a 3-stop strategy. You guys on a 2-stop strategy. What does this yellow do for you?
Well, the 2-stop strategy was definitely the way to go, but unfortunately, it was a 2-problem thing. We lost Rossi, who was in a position to have a shot at Hinch, but you see we're on black tires and everybody else around us is on red tires, and I think we got some work cut out for us. I think it's going to be difficult. We definitely did not need this yellow, especially with it being Rossi.
Do you still take away some positives from this weekend on your street course improvement?
Oh, no question. I think we're showing that we made big progress, so that's a big deal, and I think that bodes well, hopefully, for the rest of the year.
Thanks, Michael. Let's get down to Marty.
James Hinchcliffe in the lead. Let's talk to Robert Gouet, a strategist, and can he stay in the lead? I guess that's the question, Robert.
I think so. I think we've had good pace through qualifying, and he's been happy with the car so far. Put new reds on at the end, so hopefully the pace is where it's been all weekend.
I guess the biggest question is this enough caution for you to unleash him and let him go as hard as he wants for the rest of the race?
Yes, I think we saved enough fuel. This caution it's just the right length that we needed, so I think we're good to go.
All right, so the strategy out the window. Everybody can go full bore from here, and that's what we want to hear, isn't it, Rick?
Absolutely.
Well, he said, I think so. So I don't know if he can go full bore like Dixon and Newgarden, but he's definitely got a little bit more helpings. Here we go.
Well, one more lap till we go green, and they say yellows breed yellows, and I think that's the big risk here. Everybody's going to go for it on this first lap because that's your chance to make the spots before you get single file and strung out.
This has been a long yellow, and I see a lot of guys like Hunter-Reay up front warming his tires very aggressively, spinning the tires up, trying to get temperature. So he's not concerned about the fuel mileage, because if you were really super concerned about the fuel mileage, you would be idling around very carefully. As we see, he accelerates it up right here.
Now, Hinchcliffe, Hunter-Reay, Bourdais, Newgarden, they all have about 5-6 laps on their tires. Newgarden, and Dixon have fresh reds, so they'll be super aggressive. Look at the push to pass remaining. Bourdais sitting pretty. There'll come a time where they'll tell him just to use it the whole lap if he saves enough, but everybody's going to be on the button on this restart.
The longest the push to pass can go continuously is 20 seconds, but at any time as far as passing zones on the front stretch going into turn number 9.
But at the end of 20 seconds, you just hit it again.
Push it again.
You literally can do an entire lap on the button.
We have a couple of lapped cars in there with Daly, Chilton, and Power that are in the mix for the lead here. So hopefully these guys will get out of the way of all the leaders up front.
Rossi was running in the top 5 and then blew up. Alex, what did you feel?
Well, nothing. I mean, we were second. I thought we had a really good shot at winning. The pace of the car was good all day, and we were able to recover from a little bit of a tricky pit stop sequence in the first stop. So it's unfortunate. That Auto Parts car was awesome. Honda's done an amazing job. So, I mean, it's unfortunate, but look at how strong they're running. I think they're 1, 2, 3 at the moment, which is amazing. So it's unfortunate, but we'll have to fight back in Barber.
Good to see him still a little bit positive, Rick.
And again, Honda winning the first race of the season and in contention for this one. The second race of the 2017 season, about ready for the restart. Green flag back in the air.
Wow, Hinchcliffe smoked him off the final corner. Look at how strung out they are.
And the lapped cars have not moved out of the way. We've got Power right there, Chilton, and Daly, as Bourdais tries to make a move down the inside of Daly. So not a lot of aggression right now out of Dixon and Newgarden, so they didn't really make any moves on that restart.
Boy, Hinchcliffe just did a brilliant job to make sure that he didn't get jumped on that start. He timed it perfectly to carry momentum through the hairpin, and look at the advantage he has. Not under threat one bit.
16 laps to go. You look where these guys are, Newgarden and Dixon. They got a long way to go to close that gap. This is a pretty big gap he's already built in a half a lap.
Joseph Newgarden chasing after Sebastian Bourdais. We heard from Dale Coyne earlier. He didn't think he would have anything for the possible win here, but Sebastian Bourdais currently in third and able to be aggressive.
It's a long yellow, so it's going to take about a lap for these tires to get up. The tires really drop down pressure-wise. They cool off quite a bit. as we see them all file around the hairpin. We got those lap cars in the way of this train of leaders.
One of the reasons for the long yellow, IndyCar took the decision to sweep and blow some of the marbles off of the track. You still see some there on the front straightaway, but in the braking zones, it should be a little cleaner.
Everybody on the push to pass. Everybody's lit up green.
Diving into turn number 1, still about a 2-second advantage Hinchcliffe has over Ryan Hunter-Reay.
Ed Jones there looking to make a move.
Ed Jones fighting for 9th, which would better his result in St. Pete, so he was looking to move it up to 8th. Indy Lights champion now stepping up into IndyCar, making impressions.
Simon Pagenaud just behind the 15 of Graham Rahal. Into 6 and 7. They'll make the right-hand turn.
This is a problem. These lap cars are really going to cause a problem for Newgarden, Dixon, and these guys to do anything. So the laps are going to count down quickly. And if these lap guys stay up here, Bourdais tries to make a move on Daly, but this is a problem for these guys.
And back up front, look at the advantage that Hinchcliffe has over Hunter-Reay. That's the red versus black tire situation that Michael Andretti was worried about as we ride with Newgarden here. He's going to try to make a run on Bourdais.
2.5-second gap in 2 laps. Reds versus blacks, and then these lapped cars, and then these guys that are full fuel red tires can't really go anywhere.
Race control letting the lap cars know, and be mindful there's a great race taking place here. Under 14 laps remaining. Hinchcliffe with a 2-second lead over Ryan Hunter-Reay. Sebastian Bourdais 4.5 seconds back. Joseph Newgarden 5 seconds back. Scott Dixon 5.8 seconds behind.
On board with Tony Kanaan, currently runs in 12th. He's working on Mikhail Aloshin up front.
Bourdais up to 3rd now. Newgarden now in 4th. Dixon 5th.
That's out the back of Aloshin looking on Kanaan.
Pretty good feeling. I think Bourdais, he finally got around Daly. I think he's going to close the gap to Hunter-Reay. He's only 2 seconds behind him. He's on red, so you might look at Bourdais to maybe overhaul Hunter-Reay here in the next 5 or 6 laps.
Still quite a bit of time on push to pass for the top 5, including Dixon. Sebastian Bourdais of that group, and right now he's on the push to pass.
Yeah, Bourdais on the push to pass, Newgarden on the push to pass, so Hunter-Reay is not using it.
Firestone telemetry showing how Graham Rahal up over 170 miles an hour going into turn 1.
Newgarden gets around Daly. Now it's Dixon's turn to try to put Daly a lap down.
Pagenaud looking ahead to Graham Rahal.
It's just the problem you got. You got a log jam here, Townsend. You got a couple lap cars in there, and they don't really want to get out of the way, and it's just got everybody jammed up. Nobody can go anywhere.
No, and even though it's a street course, these Long Beach corners are fast enough to where the downforce matters with turbulent air in front, so it's tough to stay close.
Bourdais setting up Chilton here. He's on the push to pass now. He's going to need to get by Chilton here pretty quick. He's got Newgarden now closing down on the back of him, so he can't waste too much time behind Chilton.
Max Chilton in the 8, Sebastian Bourdais.
I think this is going to serve it up nicely for Newgarden here. Pretty boxed up as they come to Shoreline. Let's see if Newgarden gets on the button.
Oh, he's right there, so Bourdais on the button. Newgarden is not on the button yet, which is a surprise.
James Hinchcliffe.
Dixon to the outside, and Daly had to go the dirty way around the outside.
He did make the pass. He was able to get by him. But it's James Hinchcliffe that has almost a 3-second lead. His last win a long time ago, as he's still looking for that win after the crash in Indy. Welcome back. James Hinchcliffe making his way through turn 9. Coming up on the final laps of the Toyota Grand Prix of Long Beach. And the gap closed between Hinchcliffe and Ryan Hunter-Reay.
The question is Hunter-Reay catching Hinchcliffe, or is Hinchcliffe simply managing his tire wear, Paul, and managing the gap?
Well, I think he's still having to make some kind of fuel mileage. I think that advantage on reds on the restart, tires got up to temperature a little bit quicker than Hunter-Reay on blacks, and that lap traffic allowed these guys to get away from Bourdais, who's 5 seconds behind Hunter-Reay. But the race right here, Dixon, we've heard is complaining on the radio about the lap cars. He's got his teammate up there. He's trying to get by. Oh, look at these two.
Too wide as they go into one.
Woo!
Little contact there.
Doesn't
Mikhail
get any
Aloshin.
closer than that.
Tony Kanaan
Oh,
skirts
he's
in
coming
front,
back,
and now
he's coming
Mikhail Aloshin.
Something's broke. Motor.
And something wrong with the 10.
Oh, no, I saw the right front in the air, Paul.
He's got some damage on that side pod, but
Slow for Tony Kanaan now.
Oh, left rear.
Left rear down.
Left rear.
It's like they might have touched each other, and a piece of the bodywork might have cut down Tony's tire. Maybe we can get a replay on that, but it looks like Tony might have a flat rear tire. Yep.
Left rear is down.
See,
Take
he
another
dives
look.
down the outside. They touch right there, and I think that side pod just, well, the wheel-to-wheel contact, and it cut down Tony's tire.
I think it was the second contact, the right front end fence right here. Great camera work.
Wing end plate.
Yeah.
Cut down the tire. That's the old Michael Andretti. Put your wing into the guy's tire and cut it for him.
Where did he learn that from?
That's ruined. Tony's had a bad weekend this weekend.
Yeah.
It is ending badly.
He'll have to come to pit road.
Take the back door in. You can only do that if you've got a problem with your car. If you do that without a problem, you'll lose a lap.
Here's what's interesting. Get a fresh left rear on Tony Kanaan's car. Can he get out in front of James Hinchcliffe? I don't think he'll have time.
The incident under review between the 7 and the 10 car.
Hunter-Reay now closing the gap back down. It's down to 1 second. It was up to almost 3 seconds, so it's 1.1 seconds now. So they are stabilized ahead of Bourdais by 6 seconds now. Oh, sideways off the corner for Hunter-Reay. He's pushing it to the limit.
I can only think that maybe what we're seeing is those reds are starting to lose some of their grip. Marty?
Well, Paul kind of hit it as well. The team telling me that they needed to save a little bit for James Hinchcliffe on the fuel side. Not a lot, just a little bit. They couldn't let him go full bore, but yeah, you guys are right. Remember, they put on the red tires, and you got to wonder if that's playing an advantage here late in the run. Can Ryan Hunter-Reay catch James Hinchcliffe? It's going to be interesting to watch.
I wonder if in the calculations for Hinchcliffe's team on fuel that they factor in the push-to-pass usage, because Hinchcliffe still has 63 seconds left. Sato pulling off.
Wow, this might cause another yellow here if he doesn't get down far enough and into the runoff zone.
There you
Action
go.
all over the place. Tony looks like he's back up to speed on track on cold tires.
Carlos Munoz goes by, as does Spencer Pigot.
Wonder if there's any connection between Sato's issue and Rossi.
I'm gonna give a shout out to Ed Jones right there. He made a couple moves right there. He moved up to 8th, got ahead of Munoz right here. Look at this. He kind of set it up here and got by Munoz. So he kind of used Tony as a pick.
Max Chilton used that line to great effect last year. He did it several times before IndyCar finally realized that they had to warn him.
Oh,
that was Jones cutting in front of.
I don't know if they'll allow that.
Well,
that's
but
pretty questionable.
he did not gain a position, because remember, Kanaan is a lap down, so they might just rule that that was necessary to avoid contact.
6 laps to go, though, up front. James Hinchcliffe and Ryan Hunter-Reay separated
no.
by just 1 second, and Ryan Hunter-Reay is stopped on the track.
Another Honda.
And you see the yellow flag has come out. It's a full course caution. Race leader Ryan Hunter-Reay, or at the time James Hinchcliffe, but Ryan Hunter-Reay was chasing down James Hinchcliffe, and now Ryan Hunter-Reay has stopped on the course.
So we saw in about 10 laps, Rossi, Sato, Hunter-Reay, all 3 Andretti Hondas with some sort of driveline issue.
Ryan Hunter-Reay shakes his head, disappointed. This is a huge blow for him. Lala's family here, his wife's family from Orange County. Radio transmission from the team. He said the car just died, so he didn't hit anything, didn't bounce off the wall. He was pushing to the limit, so something went wrong mechanically
And how about Marco Andretti? That's all 4 Andretti Hondas out.
As we were singing their praises earlier today, and now you see the pain in the eyes of Ryan Hunter-Reay, as he knew he had a car that was challenging for the win today.
So we're going to have about 2 or 3 to go with Sebastian Bourdais second, with a chance to go 2 for 2 to start the season.
Can James Hinchcliffe do what he did initially on that restart and forge ahead, get a great lead? Can he do that to Sebastian Bourdais?
Well, the question you got is Newgarden. He's right. He's going to be there too. They're going to get rid of the lap cars now, so they'll be out of the way. So what we're going to have a shootout here, 3 to 5 lap shootout with Dixon, Newgarden, Bourdais, and Hinchcliffe. So if I'm Hinchcliffe, I got to get another restart like I did on the last one.
We saw Michael Andretti there with his face in his hands.
Any of you folks out there ever dreamed of being a team owner, reconsider after thinking about all 4 of your cars. I can't think of the last time a team with a 4-car armada had 4 go out.
But they've been so competitive all weekend.
Oh, that's what makes it so painful.
Exactly. Even harder.
You just get Hunter-Reay's car out and away from the track. They're going to go back to green, hopefully with 4 to go. So it'll be a quick. They'll let these guys know last second they could possibly go green this time by.
I want to look back on Hinch's last restart, how good it was. And again, this is coming out 11, getting ready for the restart.
I think he just parked it, Paul, enough right at the throttle application point to surprise Hunter-Reay, who charged into the hairpin. Nice job from Hinchcliffe. That's very tough if you're Hunter-Reay to do anything about it.
Well, Hunter-Reay wasn't that far back, so they're going to go around one more time. So we're going to get 4 laps to go. When they go green, we see the lapped cars peel off, which allows Newgarden and Dixon to pull up to the back of Bourdais.
That's the rule. Inside of 15 laps, the lap cars will make their way onto pit road. That way, everyone on the lead lap will have a shot at this win. Hinchcliffe out in front, Sebastian Bourdais.
Ed Jones up to 6th. The last couple laps, he's gone from 8th, 7th, 6th now. So great run for the rookie. Dale Coyne's cars, again, 2nd and 6th. Great race for those guys.
And we're going to see some horsepower burning up here. Most of these guys have about a minute of push to pass still in the bag. It's about a minute to do 1 lap around Long Beach.
So again, with 3 laps to go, it'll be a 3-lap shootout. James Hinchcliffe, I mentioned earlier, his last win was New Orleans back in 2015. But I think the pivotal point in James Hinchcliffe's career has to have been 2015 Indy, in that practice crash where a piece of the car went through his hip.
It's been a long time since Hinchcliffe has had a dominant race like this. He dominated some races back in 14, I think it was. He won the first couple races, won St. Pete pretty dominantly. And then the New Orleans win was kind of a fluke. It was crash fest, rain all over the place, and he kind of fell into it. But that accident in Indy, man, to come back from that and now to get a win, he was knocking on the door last year a couple times, but this would be big for him.
To me, the moment for Hinchcliffe was the Indianapolis pole. I know that's just qualifying, but to come back to the location of the accident at the biggest race, the Indy 500, and hang it out like he did in qualifying was sensational.
Lights are out on the pace car, so if you see Hinchcliffe warming these tires up, this is going to be it right here.
Hinchcliffe.
What is Bourdais doing hanging back? He needs to get right up there.
30-year-old from Toronto, Canada. 3 laps away from the prestigious Grand Prix of Long Beach. Green flag back in the air.
I have no idea what Bourdais was doing hanging back so far. He was like 5 car lengths behind Hinchcliffe coming into the hairpin. I would have been all over the back of Hinchcliffe.
James Hinchcliffe.
Great gap.
Hinch is the master of the restart. It's not even close. Single file all the way back. Somebody's going to have to do something bold here and soon.
Sebastian Bourdais has closed the gap in, though. It's Hinchcliffe, Bourdais, and Newgarden, the top 3.
Newgarden here, and he's going to get a slight run. He's on, he can go full fuel all the way. He's got slightly better tires than Bourdais. Bourdais' been out there longer. He has to save a little bit of fuel.
Top 3, 63 seconds push to pass for James Hinchcliffe.
Newgarden looking very racy.
From last place on the grid, Simon Pagenaud drives all the way up through the field to 5th.
What a great race he has had. He's been able to take advantage of the cautions when they came out. His strategy has played out perfectly. Joseph Newgarden all over the back bumper of Sebastian Bourdais as they come out. This time by 2 laps to go.
He was a little too heavy on the exit there with his right foot. Big slide from Joseph Newgarden.
He's got a little bit of a run, but a lot of wheel spin coming off the corner. Not close enough.
Everybody pushed the pass as they went down Shoreline Drive.
Everybody now is pretty much going to use their push to pass on every straightaway. 49 seconds for Hinchcliffe, 32 for Bourdais, 29. So the guy who's in the driver's seat right now is Hinchcliffe. He's got more push to pass than the guys behind him.
And the hands are flying furiously with Scott Dixon. I love that shot. You can see him trying to extract every bit of speed out of that NTT Ganassi car.
James Hinchcliffe
really
looking
pushing
for
it.
Another lap and a half.
Newgarden stalking the back of Bourdais. He wants to get by. He's right there. He's got to get closer as they come off the hairpin this next lap. They'll be coming to 1 to go. It'll be his last chance.
Hinchcliffe was on push to pass, as was Bourdais.
We'll see if Newgarden can close up again here. We'll see Honda versus Chevy down Shoreline. He's close.
Yeah, he's right there. He's got to get a good exit beyond the push to pass.
Much better exit.
A little bit of wheel spin. He got a little sideways. And now there's a gap there.
White flag is out. One more time around. Just under 2 miles here on the streets of Long Beach.
Dixon's kind of close. Nope, not close enough.
A big gap, though. A second between first and second. James Hinchcliffe and Sebastian Bourdais. Bourdais trying to stay in front of Joseph Newgarden. Scott Dixon running in the 4th spot.
Oh, that's Hildebrand.
J.R. Hildebrand in the runoff area. He won't affect this one.
See Bourdais still fending off. Hinchcliffe now pulling away. Bourdais on the defensive to keep Newgarden behind. Hinchcliffe now has a 1.5 second gap. He's can almost cruise at home now. He's just got to get through this last corner here. Last couple corners.
Seaside way for the final time for James Hinchcliffe. He makes the right-hand turn in 9. Now the sweeping turn 10. Coming through the hairpin for the final time, James Hinchcliffe. Coming by the grandstands. Hinchcliffe's going to win at Long Beach. Sebastian. Paul Tracy, you know exactly that feeling. You've done it 4 times. Now James Hinchcliffe will have his bust forever put into the concrete here in Victory Circle.
There's now 2 Canadians that have won the Long Beach Grand Prix. There was only one, so congratulations to James Hinchcliffe. Welcome to the club.
And what a brilliant drive in all facets. The restarts, the pace, the use of push to pass. The team told me this morning we have a great car, wink, wink, and they sure did.
What a run for James Hinchcliffe. And what a recovery. Near death in a practice crash in Indy. And now he will head back to Victory Circle. It's been 2 years since his last win, and this one will be so sweet. Mikhail Aloshin, you see the damage to the left rear.
He hit the wall, it looks like.
Saw Hildebrand have to go to the runoff area.
Well, this might be why Hildebrand and Aloshin.
Oh. Wow.
Climbed right up on top of that left rear tire.
Looked like Hildebrand was trying to make a move on Aloshin, and he was Graham was trying to make a move on him, and they just way outbraked themselves for the corner.
But watch Aloshin here. I think he dodges over at the last second.
Not really.
Yeah, I'd go back to the other angle. You see Aloshin looking in the mirror and react.
Flat tire.
There you see J.R. Hildebrand, 21. Joseph Newgarden in the 2, and the celebration going to continue. The driver of the 5, James Hinchcliffe. The incident between the 21 and 7 is under review.
And I think you'll find every driver in IndyCar wholeheartedly congratulate Hinchcliffe. He has the respect of everyone. Friendly guy.
The other thing that's big about this win, the first Long Beach win for Sam Schmidt. As they push the 5, they're into victory circle. You can see the plaques on the ground. And Hinchcliffe is going to be able to add his plaque to the impressive list of names that have won here. Alonso Jr., the most wins here at 6. Paul with 4. Sam Schmidt making his way
3.
to victory circle.
What a day for Sam Schmidt. He looked like he was going to have both cars in the top 10. Aloshin still ended up 11th, limping around with a flat tire at the end of the race.
A great run, a career run for the rookie Ed Jones. He finishes in 6th. That's his career best finish in the second race.
And what a season we're going to be in for with IndyCar. We have 2 of the non-favorite teams winning the first 2 races. We still have to see Ganassi, Andretti, and Penske win races with 4-car teams. It's going to be a wild one, guys, going down the stretch.
And it's fitting that the stars are flying through the air as James Hinchcliffe climbs out of that winning vehicle.
And Rick, the kiss from his girlfriend. They have dated since high school and been friends since high school, so a very emotional moment for you. I could see how much this meant to you, but honestly, when you go back to May of 2015, you're laying in a hospital bed. Did you think this moment was ever going to happen again, James?
Absolutely. You know, I knew from day one I had the best support around me, my friends, my family, most importantly, this race team. Schmidt-Peterson Motorsport, you know, I said on the radio, my top three, Indy 500, Toronto, and then Long Beach. We've got pole at 1, a podium at the other, now the win at the 3rd. So we got 2 more to go. So proud of these boys, proud of Honda, everybody. Just what a phenomenal result.
What moments were you thinking back to as you were coming to the checkered flag, James?
Honestly, just this racetrack, it's been so good to me over the years. You know, I had my first Atlantic podium, my first Lights win, my first IndyCar top 5, my first IndyCar podium. It's just always one that I've wanted to be on top of, you know, and to finally get here is awesome.
Paul wanted to remind you, you're the second Canadian to win here at Long Beach, and I know you wanted one thing from your helmet bag. It was a Canadian flag. The significance of joining Paul as a second Canadian to win here at Long Beach. The significance of joining Paul as a second Canadian to win here at Long Beach. I know it means a lot to you and your country.
It does, you know, and I watched Paul win here, and so it meant a ton to me. I mean, the greatest of the greats have won here. This is the second longest race in the IndyCar series after the 500, which makes it the second most important, the second coolest to win. And again, everyone at Aero, Schmidt-Peterson Motorsport, we had to fight. You know, it didn't come easy. We got a great start, got a couple guys on the start, got a couple guys in that second round of pit stops. Huge credit to the crew to get us out fast enough, and you know, gutted for Alex and Ryan. That was going to be a good race there, I think, at the end. But just so proud of this guy right here, and Rick Peterson. Peterson's granddaughter came up to me before the race and said, "It's funny, we never see you win on TV." So this one's for you, hon.
All right, he was here with Dancing with the Stars last year. This year, he's in victory lane at Long Beach. An incredible win and great restart today for James Hinchcliffe.
Well, Marty, James Hinchcliffe is clearly the winner of this event, but Sebastian Bourdais and Dale Coyne Racing, I think they feel like they won, considering the early mishap that again put you in the back and you almost got all the way back to the front.
Yeah, no, that was an incredible race, man. Just, at the beginning somebody lost an end plate or something. Flew, I dodged it, I went like this in the car. It went really close and it ripped off the whole left side of the rear wing and rear part. And that's why we came in and changed. Gave us a couple of laps, you know, to save less of fuel, but you know, we played to our strengths. I've always been pretty comfortable saving fuel, and you know, that one kind of came to us. I was just really surprised that nobody played the game, because yeah, air was definitely feasible fuel-wise for us, at least. You know, great job by Honda, obviously.
Were you thinking about trying to challenge Hinch on those final 2 restarts, or were you thinking more about let's maintain second?
No, yeah, we lost balance a little bit, so I really was just trying to hang on to second place. I think James really deserved that one. He looked very comfortable and quick up front. I didn't really have the balance at the end to go and challenge him, so I've just tried to manage the second place. And hey, you know, I was kind of thinking championship a little bit out there.
That's what I was going to say. Are you for real? Are you a championship contender this year?
I don't know. We'll find out. But Yeah, we'll have stayed out there twice for 2 races, so that's not too bad.
Well, it's the best start in his career since 2006, was the 3rd of his 4 straight Champ Car championships.
And of course, Dale Coyne's got to be smiling as well as you look at the point standings through 2 races.
How about this guy, rookie Ed Jones, comes home 6th today, jumps way up to 7th in the points. That's pretty awesome.
But it's Sebastian Bourdais after 2 races, a 19-point lead over James Hinchcliffe, getting a win here in Long Beach. Simon Pagenaud, a year ago, he won this race, went on to win the championship. Now James Hinchcliffe in a great position as he was able to get to victory circle here in Long Beach, and currently 2nd in the point standings. You're watching NBCSN's coverage of IndyCar, brought to you by Honda, an official vehicle of the Verizon IndyCar Series, and by Pengrade Motor Oil. Make the grade.